And we are live. Hey, everybody. This is Roberto Blake helping you create something awesome today. Welcome to another Sunday edition YouTube Live here. So today we are going to be talking about influencer brand deals. We're going to be answering some of your questions live here on the air. And I'm not 100% sure if I have any special guests joining us, but they have been invited. And so if people are around, we might actually have some other people on to talk about brand deals, influencer marketing, what it means to be a small influencer, micro influencer, large influencer, all of the things. By the way, do me a huge favor. If you're watching the live stream or you're watching the replay, go ahead and share this with anybody that you know that is a content creator, and that would be helpful. We are not going to be talking about how to get more subs. We're not going to be really doing that. You can literally watch any of the number of the 300 videos that I've made for YouTube content creators. And I'm sure there are dozens of videos about how to get more subscribers if you're a small YouTuber. So we're not going to be talking about that here, and I will not be answering those questions. We will specifically be talking about things like how many followers you might need in certain platforms to have more leverage with your brand deals, how to negotiate. We'll talk a little bit about why brands may or may not work with nano influencers, micro influencers, people with a certain amount of follower counts in the different platforms, a little bit about how to present yourself, and also the type of things you might need to do and prepare for when you're speaking to brands, because a lot of you don't know necessarily what you even need to know in order to do a proper brand deal or to do outreach to a brand or how to respond to a brand that reaches out to you. So we're going to try and do some of that today. I'm going to try and answer a lot of your questions in this live stream. And then hopefully by doing this, we will talk a little bit about this in other videos coming forward, because what I can do is I can take some of your questions here from the live experience, and then I can use that to kind of direct some videos that I have planned for this week and in the coming weeks around YouTube brand deals. We're also putting together a little bit of a playlist on the main YouTube channel where actually we're going to talk specifically, I'm trying to build out a few specific videos for you answering specific questions about YouTube brand deals, influencer marketing, that type of thing, pitching to brands, building media kits, all the things you really do need to know if you want to start making money as a content creator by working with brands. We're also going to be covering in the coming weeks some other ways to make money besides brand deals, like selling your own products with e-commerce. We're even going to talk about getting affiliate deals with these brands so that maybe you can prove your sales numbers to them and then they offer you a brand deal. So remember, a lot of you ignore affiliate marketing. It's not only a great opportunity to make money, but it's an opportunity to prove yourself to a brand. And it's a way to give your audience the opportunity to see that they can take you at your word and to kind of warm them up to brand deals. If you're already advocating for brands and then your audience is responding to it when you drop affiliate links, whether you're recommending books or whether you're recommending camera gear or the beauty products or even just the clothes that you wear, if you're a lifestyle influencer or anything else, then it shows brands that you are somebody who can have influence and have people who are going to take you at your word and buy things. There's also the fact that if you are doing this and your audience is responding, then they're not going to be frustrated with you later when you're doing brand deals, if you've already been recommending products and they've actually been getting value, enjoying it, asking you for your recommendations and your advice in the comments. Like, this has been a big deal with me with camera gear and PC parts components. You guys know I build custom PCs like the one in the back there, lighting equipment, microphones. A lot of you ask about that. You ask about, the gear and the microphones and the things that I use. So I have a lot of experience with this. So one of those things that a lot of people don't consider is that just by recommending things, you're putting yourself in a better position for brand deals in the future. And there's not a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to those affiliate links anyway. So just kind of think about these things. We're going to get into it here. I do want to thank today's sponsors, by the way. We're talking about sponsorships. We're talking about brand deals. You guys need to know about disclosures. We'll talk about that too. And you guys need to know that today's live stream is sponsored by our good friends over at StreamYard, who are making all of this possible. I'm using StreamYard right now. And by the way, I'm still paying for it. They are sponsoring, but I'm still paying for it. And they actually are what is allowing me to live stream right now on my Facebook page, a Facebook group, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live via Periscope. So go check out StreamYard. It's linked in the description down below, or you can go to robertoblake.com/go/StreamYard. Use it 100% free. And if you like it and you want to upgrade to their pro features, you feel free to do that. Just use my link. Also, want to thank our friends over at TubeBuddy, who have been a long-time sponsor, but also my #1 affiliate. And a lot of you have used it. A lot of you have given me feedback. We've even done a live stream where I actually showed you my TubeBuddy workflow and how I do keyword research. Tags are not about just getting more views. I explained that in that video where you can actually see my process in detail and how I use TubeBuddy. More importantly, I actually use it to do my productivity work. I can actually prepare everything for my videos before I'm even done editing. And so once I'm ready to upload a video to YouTube, everything's already done. Even the thumbnail is already uploaded in advance. So that's another reason to use TubeBuddy, is just the productivity tools. We've talked about that before. So all of that is linked down below, as well as the discount code if you decide to buy TubeBuddy, but you're welcome to actually try it for free. Try all this stuff for free. See how you like it. Use my links down below. Those are affiliate links. And if you like them, then you can support our great sponsors who support the free content. By the way, there you go, guys. That in itself is an example of how you can go ahead and do a pitch and advocate for brands in your content, do it authentically, do it seamlessly, and then get right back into your videos. So guess what? Boom, we are done. Yeah, Angelique, you didn't even know that it has that where you can load the thumbnail. Yeah, you can load the thumbnail, the title, and description all before you upload, and it's already done. And you can do it for each individual video, and you could just have videos queued up if you're working in advance. Guys, I'm good to go today. By the way, I have my water. I'm hydrating. Got my water with lemon in it, so my voice is going to be nice and smooth for all of you. It's a little warm here in Hot Atlanta, so I don't know how long wearing all this yellow is going to last. So that's great. And, you know, just in case, I've got a little bit of snack. So go ahead, and I had my carbs beforehand. I'll work them off later. I'll probably work them off in this stream. So we're going to get into it here. In fact, actually, Angelique, you work with a rather large channel. You know a lot about brand deals in this subject. I'm going to send you a DM over in Twitter if I can. If you want to join me, you're free to. Actually, you're more of an Instagram person. Let me just go ahead and see if I can go ahead and DM you from Instagram desktop to bring you in with StreamYard here. That's another cool feature of StreamYard, is you can actually invite guests whenever you want, and they don't have to download anything. So let's go ahead and see if I can go ahead and shoot you that invite. So Angelique, you've just been invited to the stream whenever you can go ahead and get ready. I don't know if Viper is going to be joining us tonight, guys, because it's WrestleMania, which is where some people are. So, you know, I know you guys love Viper. I'm hoping he'll be back with us the next time we stream. Yes, Periscope, unfortunately, is on the chopping block. Periscope will not be lasting much longer, but it is going to be Twitter Live, so you'll still be able to live stream on Twitter. It's just the Periscope branding will go away. I don't know what they're going to do to your followers in Periscope, so you know that's something to just consider there. I don't know if they'll merge those. Hey, one of my favorite YouTubers, Rodimus Primal, with a great Transformers retrospective channel. He also covers the toy reviews and the figures. Hope he's loving that new self-transforming Optimus Prime. So Rodimus has a question. Hey, Roberto, question for you. How would you respond when a company offers you product as a thank you without any requirements? Well, that's a great question. So if a company just sends me something and I like it, I could always just make content and I can say, hey, they sent it over. And even that could be content itself of, hey, they sent me everything, or they sent me this, or they sent me that. I actually am making a video on the More Roberto Blake channel because Elgato sent me everything I don't already own. Elgato actually sent me every product I haven't ever bought. So, one, I plan to actually review some of that, and I plan to actually do an office tour. So they'll be featured heavily in my office tour. I have no requirements, but they sent me so much nice stuff. And it actually is really cool stuff that a lot of you would want to buy. A lot of you want to see like the Stream Deck XLR. You want to see the new Elgato sound panels, the green screen desktop mat. There's so many cool things that Elgato sent me that actually make for good content. So my answer, Rodimus, to your question is, if something makes good content and a brand sends it to you, then make the good content for your audience and just acknowledge that, hey, the brand sent this over. Isn't this cool? And it doesn't have to go on your main channel. You could do it in any of your other socials. I like that stuff. And the thing is, the brand will see it. Their competitors will see it, other brands will see it. And so I always just take it as an opportunity to say, hey, I can create some great content for my audience, and I can also show a brand what I can do. So thank you for your question, Rodimus. Always appreciate you out here. So yeah. So let's see. We have a couple of more questions, I think. Roberto, how do you know an email is legit for a legit email from someone? It looks official, but I'm still leery. Too many spammers out there. Couldn't agree more. So, Artist Haven, there are email scams out there, unfortunately, that target content creators and influencers. And the that makes it hard sometimes, especially if you're a small influencer who's been dreaming of a brand deal, dreaming of having a brand reach out to you. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I think that when it comes to avoiding email scams, in general, take all the general precautions in terms of having anti-malware, antivirus, VPN, do all the things. But you really want to look at who it's from and then check the email address. I never trust brand deals that come from like a Gmail address or not the official brand. I check the website. I do everything I can to confirm the legitimacy. I even look up the person who's sending it in LinkedIn and look for their LinkedIn profile and then try to confirm their identity. But I go to an extreme. Also, in my case, now, again, I've always kind of had this position where I always wanted to work with very specific brands instead of just any brand. And that's why you guys don't see a ton of brand deals on my channel. You'll see stuff from Sony, Adobe, people like that. You'll see stuff hopefully soon from like Storyblocks and just the most legitimate people that I can work with. YouTube has done stuff with me. Google has done stuff with me in terms of official brand deals. I have a dream 100 list of 100 brands I want to work with. And the thing is, I generally don't deviate outside that list unless it's a rare exception. And I have to be able to confirm the identity of the person from the company in order to trust the email. And before I click on any links in that email, some of you could also use like an email link checker, and maybe that would help you. So just kind of be very careful about anything that sounds too good to be true, and just do your due diligence and try to confirm the identity of the brand. The other thing is sometimes there'll be a PR company that'll reach out. You'll want to confirm that the PR company exists, check their social media. Don't click any of the links in an email from someone you don't know without trying to verify first. So thank you for that question. We got our first super chat from Dallas Cowboys Network, $4.99. Thank you so much. What is the best way to determine the worth if a growing channel when a brand is interested in merging or acquiring it? Well, in terms of like, I guess you're talking about selling a channel. And the thing is, I honestly have to say, I don't know when it comes to selling a channel because I don't know enough, and it would be unique to each individual channel. I don't know enough about the business behind the channel, the company that you set up for it, what the assets are, or any of those things. And so if you want to talk to someone who might know when it comes to selling a channel, consider reaching out to Daryl Eves, because I feel like he would know more about buying and selling and channel acquisitions and people who have done it than I would, because this is one of those situations where I'm not afraid to tell you, I really just don't know. And so, that's my thought there. In general, though, with selling or acquiring a company, it's going to come down to some vetting and a proper valuation. And it's going to come down to earnings and previous earnings potential, the value of the IP. It's going to be a lot of considerations. And those things can be unique in every channel situation. So don't really know when it comes to the merging or acquiring of a channel or selling it as an asset. Just got to say, I don't know. By the way, it's never wrong if you're in a position as an educator to just say there's something you don't know. So Todd asked, hey, Roberto, if I ask for a product to do a review and they send it, is it considered a sponsored video? This is a great question. If you're not receiving money, from my perspective, it's not a sponsored video. It's not a brand deal. It's not sponsored content just because you were given a product that you asked for or a review unit. Primary example, Sony is going to be lending me the A1 for about a week, along with 2 lenses. And they're partnering up with Lens Rentals to get that out to me. In the video that I'm going to make about that, and the videos I will make about that across my channels and my platforms, I'm going to tell my audience that I did not buy this. Sony lent it to me and no money changed hands. That's the proper way to do it, is to just tell people what the deal is. Now, there are going to be some rude people in your comments who are going to say, but isn't that a sponsorship or isn't? And the answer is, even if you're keeping the product, then no, they gifted it to you, but they didn't require any obligations. If there's not a contract, if there's not money exchanging hands, it's not a sponsored deal. And by the way, for all your sponsored deals and all of your branded content, there should be a contract. And as I said, money should be changing hands. If that is not the case, you're not obligated to do anything. And therefore, it's not sponsored content because there's no obligation, there's no legal liability, there's no financial compensation. So it's just you doing what you would normally do, and somebody gave you the means to do it. This is not sponsored content because they're not patronizing you. They're not legally obligating you. So remember, you need to have a contract in place and money needs to change hands, or you're not sponsored and it's not a brand deal. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to pretend and say that you're doing a brand deal when you're not, or you don't want to misrepresent that and misrepresent yourself as somebody that is acting as an ambassador for the brand in an official capacity. Okay, so that's the other thing. So there are some small influencers that unfortunately go out there and they pretend that they're sponsored because then they can say they've made it, and it's also a validation thing, and they also think other people want to sponsor them. The same way you have people who do sub for sub, or they might buy followers or likes or whatever in TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. And that's not really the answer. Content's always the answer. Content is always the answer. So it's about how you represent yourself and how you represent the brand and how you connect with the audience. So those are always things that matter. And speaking of representing, my boy is here. You got to welcome him to the stream, everybody. Give it up for Viper, the man about tech.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, baby. Good to see you too.
What's it been, 2 weeks?
I think 3 since we've been on live together, I believe. So yeah.
Well, I did take a week off, so.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? So I'm curious. I see you're talking about brand deals and how to talk to brands and things like that. Did you see that little dust up on Twitter last week, or this week, I should say, with the creator who put out the tweet about if a brand asked for their product that they sent back, then that's the worst brand move ever? Did you see that?
I did not, actually. You want to give me some context?
I don't even know if I got context. So apparently, forget the guy's name, but somebody put out a tweet about how when a brand asks for a product back, or ask, like, if they send out a product for review and they ask for it back, that's like the worst like brand move ever or whatever. And I'm just like, dude, like, what are you talking about? if the brand states up front that they want the product back, then I don't really see the problem. But
Yeah, that just seems like more like outrage than anything. But our good friend Emily Baker makes a great point, and I'm glad that she makes this point because remember, in telling you how I do things, I also said that I disclose when a brand sent me something, which is what you're supposed to do. You tell your audience the truth, but it's also the FCC rules. You have to disclose when there's a benefit of some kind, even receiving the thing for free. Again, what I'm saying is it's not a brand deal. So I'm saying don't misrepresent it as a brand deal if you get a free product.
right.
Because you don't want to, again, misrepresent your relationship with the brand. But you also don't want to mislead your audience. So you want them to understand when you paid for something and when you didn't, which is why I use the example of, hey, Sony is sending me the Sony A1 and I do not get to keep this. It's going back in a week, but no money changed hands and I can say whatever the hell I want. Like that is a proper disclosure of what took place. You just tell your audience what the deal is what's our boy Biden said. Here's the deal.
It's like, yeah, and I think I'm like on the same line with you. Unless there's money exchanging hands, I don't know if I would call it a brand deal per se. I mean, obviously you have some type of relationship with that brand if they're sending you product, but I don't know if I would call that a brand deal. I mean, that's just like a little partnership or something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think those are like two completely different things.
Well, a lot of our friends, they disclose the nature of their relationship. Like Gerald and Dunn does a great job of that. He does the whole no money changed hands. These are my own opinions. And when Justine and Jenna have a specific relationship with the brand, they will say something like they're a Microsoft partner,
Right.
or that they're a such and such ambassador, or what their relationship with like Sony is, and so on and so forth. There's people who, like Manny Ortiz, he used to be in the Sony Alpha Collective. He would always say that I'm a Sony Alpha Collective shooter and da-da-da-da-da. He would tell you what the nature of the relationship is. This is also for the side when in terms of like the financial relationship also, but also to let you know if there's a bias in the preference of what they're saying that, you know, you need to understand that. So these are things I like. The FCC has its rules, but the thing is, as long as you're actually being forthright with your audience and having integrity, you'll probably be within FCC guidelines, but you should still be aware of what the official rules are. My answer is just to tell the truth.
Exactly. That is
like, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna get mad at a brand for requesting their product back if they want it back, as long as they tell me that up front. Now, if they wait till like 5-6 months down the road, be like, "Hey, can we get that back?" I'm like, "Wait, what? What? Then I'm like, I mean, theoretically they can still do that, I guess. But then I'm just like, why didn't you tell me that up front? Because by that time you might have gotten rid of it or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, as long as you're telling the truth, like you said, as long as you're being upfront and honest about it. Like when I get sent stuff at the very beginning of the video, I'm like, shout out to such and such for sending me the product review, and then we go into the video, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
That's
even our boy T here, same thing. All my accessory reviews, I just say that they sent them to me, and that's it. It's like, yeah. I mean, it's just like it's the thing. Like, just tell the truth. And don't misrepresent it. If like don't try like now again, if you accidentally, because you don't know any better, because you're a smaller creator, you're a smaller influencer, you're a smaller TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or whatever, if you didn't know any better before this stream and you were saying, oh, they sent this to me, so I guess I'm sponsored, I'm legit now, I understand why you were doing that. I don't think you were doing it on purpose. Maybe you just didn't know any better. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but don't do that, because again, do not misrepresent the situation just because it might look a little better, or because you think that is, or just because your friends are doing it. Make sure you're always checking the rules. When in doubt, ask somebody established, or reach out to the brand and say, hey, do I need to do anything, or do I need to say anything, or like, you know, what do I need to do? And just like admit that you don't know any better and that, you know, you want some guidance. That's all you have to do. Shelly here says it too. FTC, by the way, FTC, not FCC. Sorry, guys. States that we must disclose receiving for free, but agree no contract, no money equals not sponsored. Yep, 100%.
Exactly. It's that easy. That easy.
Yeah. So there was a super chat. I'm trying to scroll up and find it. We got from Kicksot. Thank you for the $10. Hey, Roberto, currently doing public speaking presentations with schools. Good for you, my friend. And I'm curious on how I should price for guest speaking with large audience. Let's say 200 plus. I have a rate card. Thanks, by the way. So this isn't the same thing as a brand deal, but it's pretty close in a way because you are being paid to deliver content in a fashion in terms of doing an event. If it's being filmed, they're probably filming it. If not, you should be filming it for your reel. So there's that part of it. What I would tell you is one, you could always, when you're unsure whether it's a brand or a speaking engagement, you could always reach out to them and just use these words. How much do you have in budget for this? Because the thing is, if you don't know, then that's like sometimes a situation where you could be taken advantage of real easily. So just asking. Now, again, I'm not sure that they won't throw you a low ball number, but the thing is, it's still probably, if it's your first round, it's your first rodeo, that even if they lowball you, it'll be higher than what you would have asked for. So you're probably safe trusting them by just asking, well, what do you have in budget? And you could also ask, what do you normally, what do you normally do in this situation? And then you can go from there and you can kind of negotiate in your own best interest. The thing is that budgets do determine everything. It's hard for you to, there's another way you can go. I'll talk about how I do it a little bit later. We'll actually even show you guys, we'll let you guys peek my media kit. And then I want to ask you about something with, smaller creators, Viper. But my main thing here would be, and I am going to just let you guys have a little sneak peek of what we're going to show you. We're going to show you my media kit from 2019. I have a new one, but we're going to just use this one because that one's not ready yet for public consumption. But yeah, what we'll do is I would say that you're best reaching out, or even finding someone else who is speaking at the event or has spoke at the place before previously, seeing what deal they were able to arrange and just asking for some help. When in doubt, always ask for help, or just ask people to be honest with you and understand there's one little thing. The earlier you are in your career, the worse you're going to negotiate. So just understand that you're always going to look back and realize that you could have done it differently.
I love how you highlighted that creators that don't know how these things work should ask for help. I've talked about it on this very live stream before about how creators, too many of them see each other in competition, and it's really not that way at all. We're all working towards the same end, and we're not really competition. We're more like allies and colleagues in a sense. So if you have a creator that you can trust to talk about these things, then I would definitely recommend that you go talk to them about rates and things like that, and make it a little bit easier on yourself.
Yeah, we have a lot of conversations about this. We have DM groups where we talk to each other about this kind of stuff. There are a lot of brand deals where you're under NDA and you can't necessarily talk about how much you made in an individual brand deal. But if you're not under NDA and you're not competing with people, and if it's not something like that, then maybe you should tell people so that they have an understanding. Having worked with creators, having coached creators, I have a lot of information that isn't available for public discussion, things that I can't say, things I cannot show, so on and so forth, because I've worked with creators of all sizes. I've worked with people over 1 million, people over 6 million. I know their rates. I help them develop their rate cards. In fact, my company, Create Awesome Media, we're designing people's media kits for them to pitch brands. We're not cheap. We have 2 packages. We have one for 600 and we have one for 1,200. And we charge that because if you're a smaller influencer, if you're a smaller YouTuber and you're ready to go big time, you're going to make $600 off of some of your first earlier brand deals in some cases. We have friends, Viper, with anywhere from 2,000 to 10,000 that their first couple of brand deals, some of them were able to get over $1,000, but the only reason they got over $1,000 is because they asked for help from the friends to know what to negotiate. Otherwise, they would have lowballed down to 200 in a lot of those cases. So, it's possible to, with the right content, the right audience, an understanding of the value that you can create for a brand, an understanding of what a brand needs, it's possible to get brand deals when you have less than 5,000 or 10,000. but you're also usually the most naive and the most likely to get taken advantage of the earlier you are in your career and when you're splitting your focus between your audience and these brands. And that's where a lot of the problems happen.
Yep. When you're first starting out, obviously you don't have the education about these things that seasoned creators do. So definitely take advantage if you have those people available to you. Don't feel too proud or don't like you don't feel too scared to reach out. Just reach out.
Yeah. Emily, if you need to redo your media kit, feel free to DM me, reach out. We'll get you the homies discount. Actually, I do need to work with some creators on doing some media kits, even if we have to give a discount, because the problem is, just like with the brand deals, Viper, we can't show the stuff that we've done in the past besides my media kit because the creators asked us not to, kind of in an NDA type arrangement of they don't want to show their competitors their media kits. So the thing is, I do need some for case studies, and we can redact information people don't want shown, but most of the people we've worked with just don't want theirs shown at all. And I understand that. I'm one of the only examples of a media kit that's out there right now for that exact reason.
I believe it, man. I believe it.
Yeah. So Emily, just reach out, DM me. We'll hook you up. We'll get you a discount.
So what else is going on with you? You said you wanted to ask me something. What's up?
Well, what I want to ask you is, well, now with everything you have going on with the podcast, and you've got some like heavy hitters on the podcast. Your podcast is also what, top 100, top 50 in tech? You used to be top 20.
Yeah. It used to be top 200 a long time ago.
Are you top 100?
No, it was top 200 a long time ago. That was over a year ago, though.
Okay. Where do you know where you are now, or?
Not on the charts. I can tell you that much.
Okay, we got to get you back into the charts. But you're still getting like good downloads and like you're getting decent traction over there. But the name recognition of the people that you have is so ridiculously powerful. I feel like you're finally, do you feel comfortable knowing what you know about platforms, content, and all these things? And again, you have in more than one platform about 5K followers regularly, you're getting some traction. Do you feel you're ready to do your first like paid brand deals? Because like you've actually been an advocate for certain brands, and there are brands that rock with you. I'm sure they'd be happy to support what you're doing and to be known for supporting what you're doing. You think that you're ready to take that leap?
I can do it, but to be honest with you, I am not really on that path right now. I should say is I'm not actively seeking them out. Now, if they come to me and email and something sounds good and legitimate, then I will definitely consider it. But as far as me going out and actively searching for brand deals, it's not really something it's not something I'm doing, I should say.
Don't you feel like, or let me ask you this. There are brands you already have a great relationship with.
Yeah.
You don't feel like doubling down on that right at this moment? And if not, do you feel comfortable telling us why specifically?
This is so funny that we're having a conversation. I've known something for over a week now, and I'm not going to get into the details, but it's kind of a weird situation. So I had a brand reach out to me about doing maybe some like sponsorship stuff and some other things on the side and things like that. But the only problem is the brand that reached out to me, the only reason why I've been really like responding to yet, because it's in kind of like direct contradiction with another brand that I have a good relationship with too. So it's like, how do I navigate these waters?
Okay. So as you know, there are brands that rock with me, despite the fact that I rock with their competitors.
Mm-hmm.
I've taken the position. Now, there are, as you know, a lot of my friends and colleagues will go all in with one brand, and they'll even sign exclusivity content and like keep the other brand's name as much out of their mouth as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. My position is to be brand agnostic in terms of the business relationship, even if I have my preferences, because I can be personally biased. I'm just not going to go all exclusive. Now, I can do a temporary exclusion term in my content for like a lot of times the brands will tell me not to work with their competitors for 90 days. And if I can avoid mentioning them or doing something for 90 days, and you know what I come back with? 30 days. And guess what they do? They say yes. Like that's called negotiating. That's called, you apply some leverage there and you go, hey, I want to be fair. And the thing is, I always position it, look, I want to be fair to the audience. And I tell them my position is to make sure that people are educated about whatever they choose to buy. And I have my preferences for you guys for whatever reason, your brand for whatever reason. And I rock with you guys and I do this anyway. And everybody already knows that. It's not a downside for me to also say, hey, for those of you buying this other thing, I understand you, because it means I feel I have a better chance of converting people down the road and trusting and people with your competitors. I can bring them over to my side eventually because there's a reason I use you. And the thing is, as long as they see that I'm being fair, I can make those arguments and advocate for you. But if I'm considered biased, I can never win those people over. And they accept my explanation on that.
So you don't worry about, like, if you do a sponsorship with one brand, but obviously you have a relationship with their direct competitor, you don't worry about that, like maybe kind of impacting your credibility with your audience if you like.
Not at all, because it's the opposite. It's the opposite. You're worried about the far minority of people that look at that thing from a brand loyalist standpoint and a flip-flopping thing. Because the thing is, I can easily address it the same way I told you. I can go, look, primary example. Let's say my thing is largely Adobe, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say that I was going to do something and it was sponsored by, let's just say Canva, for example, right? Let's say I did a brand deal with Canva. I can go, okay, look, you guys, or, oh, I got a better one for you. Let's talk about Adobe Premiere Pro and the fact we all know I'm an Adobe fanboy, to the point of being accused, by the way, of being an Adobe shill when I'm not. They do pay well, though, when I do work with them. But let's say I were to do a brand deal with Filmora. People might want to say they want to call me out on that. And I would go, guys, not everybody can afford a monthly payment. For some people, adding another bill is just an unreasonable ask. And not everyone is going to settle for what they get with free products, because I talk about the things you can edit with for free all day. Great tools like Adobe Rush. But Filmora is fantastic for somebody that's not doing very complex content, but wants something they can grow with, where they pay one time. There's a lot of you that are budget conscious in my audience. Guys, I shoot on $3,000 cameras with $2,000 lenses. I love Sony. I've worked with Sony, and I'm going to recommend a lot of you start with the Canon M50 because that's what you can afford. So again, I'm not a hypocrite or a flip-flopper or a shill for being sensitive to the fact that there's just some people who don't have it like that. I'm very fortunate. So if your pockets aren't deeper, I want to be able to represent a brand that has that affordability for you in a way that my favorite brand might not, because my favorite brand is either you use something free or you use something that has a monthly payment, and you might have to pay more than you have at that given time, or you might have to stress about, well, what happens if I miss one of those payments? If you don't want that anxiety, there's a product and a price for you. And that's why I'm happy to work with Filmora. And that's how I would do it. That's how I would answer that criticism. People can have their criticism. That's fine. It doesn't mean their criticism is valid. And the thing is, their feelings have nothing to do with my facts. So as long as I can back up what I'm saying, anyone who has a problem with it is welcome to leave. Because I'm not here to cater and pander to people's feelings. I'm here to make the best content I can as authentically as I can. And anyone who doesn't like it can effing leave. The end. Boom. If you smell what Roberto is cooking.
I like it.
So yeah. Like I said, the answer to everything, Viper, is just be honest. The answer to everything is just don't lie. I don't have to lie to the brands. I can just tell them how it is and tell them what rocking with me looks like. Is I'm not going to be your shill. I'm not going to be your mouthpiece. I'm going to be a true advocate. And that means that I'm going to tell the truth about the market and about what's out there and why I'm going with you or why I do advocate for you. I can advocate for something that I don't use or can't use right now, because the problem is 99% of the people starting may not have my budget. So it's valid for me to promote a product I don't use because what I use is out of my audience's price point. That's fair. That's actually reasonable. That's actually respectful to the audience's situation. So as long as you're respecting your audience and as long as you're telling the truth, that's all you ever have to do. And you're going to get criticism and you're going to get people who still that's not good enough for them. And guess what? Screw them. They can go somewhere where someone will pander to them and cater to whatever sensitivities or needs they have. Because if telling the truth isn't good enough, you don't need those people around. Just tell the truth.
Good point. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, but I get you. I feel like I had to figure that out though, Bifer. I didn't know that overnight. Eventually, my anxiety just came down to why don't I just tell the truth? That's the easiest way out of like whatever problem I have is like, oh, I'll just tell the truth.
That's literally the best thing. That's literally usually the best course of action. Just tell the truth. You're right.
Solves all problems. And the problems that don't, it's like, oh, well. Yeah. Jonathan Heath, $5 super chat. How do you recommend going after a brand when you really want to work with, for example, I'm a veteran. I really want to work with Black Rifle Coffee. Okay. Jonathan, this is a great question. Viper, you're a good example of this. There are brands that you like rock with and you've always like mentioned them. You make videos about them even without them sponsoring. You show that you're a true fan. Best way to get on a brand's radar is to be a super fan.
I actually have a story that pretty much draws right off that question. So 3 years ago now, it's been 3 years. Wow. But 3 years ago, my dude Taylor Tech made a video about Rich Wallet. When he made it, I had never heard of Rich Wallet at the time. I watched the video. I was like, wow. And at the time that I watched the video, I was looking for that exact wallet. I didn't know it, but I was looking for a smaller, compact wallet in my life, and I was getting tired of carrying the big bull crap around. So I saw that video that he did about Rich Wallet. I went out and I brought one, and I ended up making a video about the wallet and how I enjoyed it and things like that. Video got a lot of positive feedback. I got a few thousand views on that video.
I remember.
And what I did,
it's the video that put me on their radar and gave me like, oh, let's go. Like, yeah.
Yeah, oddly enough, iPhone found me via one of my Rich Wallet videos too, which is kind of mind blowing. But so what I did was I went down into the comment section and I saw a comment about somebody had made the comment that they should like sponsor you or they should send you wallets or something to that effect. So I ended up what I do is I copied and pasted that comment and I put it on Twitter and I tweeted it at Rich Wallet, and they saw the comment or whatever, and then they reached out to me directly. They're like, all right, dude, we want to take care of you. We want to work with you. And we can see some stuff, and there you go. So, yeah, it's as simple as tweeting out the brand, especially if you get like positive feedback on your video about the product, and people, especially if your video encourages other people to go out and try that brand. If you get a comment like that, definitely copy paste that and tweet that to the brand. Oh, they love that stuff. I mean, that's the goal right there.
Yeah. Also, reviewing things you already own shows your caliber of a reviewer. And that gives you kind of a body of work, a portfolio, a resume to be able to say, hey, we'd love for that to be our thing. Viper, you know that recently I've been getting love from brands just based on my product photography alone in Twitter and Instagram. And it's been putting me on the radar of brands to say, hey, we need to get some of that love. That looks, he makes our stuff look better than the damn magazine, better than we put in the last ad. What is he doing? Like, let's go. Like, so there's, there's something to be said for putting yourself in a position to just kind of like build the profile of why we should work with you. What am I going to get? What is that even going to look like? And again, I think the best thing in a lot of ways is to put yourself on the brand's radar, interact with them. Like that way, whenever you do reach out, or if they reach out, it's not cold, it's warm, right? Because they know you, they're familiar with you,
Definitely like helps. Tweet at them. Something I like to do, especially with Samsung, is like if I'm taking a picture with my Galaxy S21 Ultra, I had them in the picture. But just make them aware of your presence, and yeah, it worked.
Oliver has a great question. He says, my first brand deal was for €800, which I assume is about $1,000 US for a 1-minute integration in a video. Oh, that's a long integration. Channel with 490K subs and 50K views per video. Did I underprice myself? I think if you ever price yourself based on the number of views you guys are getting, that I consider that doing it wrong, because I consider it the same thing as working for hourly wages, which I don't believe in either. I always believe in pricing on value. This is something my friend Chris Doe also talks about. I came from the world of freelancing. I came from the world of working at an agency where you do itemized billing and where you do value-based pricing. Guys, I never price based on my views. I also don't necessarily price based on my follower count or my sub count. You guys might be shocked to know that I've gotten brand deals all the way from $1,000 all the way up to $9,000 on my Instagram. My Instagram has 22,000 followers at this point. You know, that sounds a lot more, but it also is the niche that I'm in. I'm in a niche that centers around both tech, business, creativity. So the thing is, I'm working with some different budgets than some lifestyle influencers or just product reviewers might be. I also am using and leveraging other aspects of my reputation. And I also package myself across all of my platforms. And you'll see that in my media kit here soon, why that's an advantage. So Oliver, if you are charging based on in your idea that your value is tied specifically to the views you get per upload, you're somewhat doing it wrong, and you always are going to be underpriced, because the problem with a lot of social media influencers is because almost none of you have a background in like making things outside of content and not working with companies as an employee, as a creative working at a company. You don't understand the budgets. Understanding the budgets, understanding services, understanding itemized billing is kind of a key to not being taken advantage of, because you're doing more than getting views. You're going to make content. You're going to stake your reputation. There's a value cost built into you writing, directing, scripting, editing. And if you were working directly for the brand to make something for their channel, you're not responsible for how many views it gets, nor are you going to be paid for that. You're going to be paid for producing the content for their channel. So you need to start thinking like that, and then valuing your audience on top of the value of your work.
Wait. Am I reading this right? Hey, €800 for a 1 minute integration, and his channel has 490,000. Holy, oh my Lord.
Viper, I've seen people get raw deal to the point of getting like $1,200 on a channel with almost 800K subscribers. You'd be shocked how much people underprice, because their view counts make them insecure. And also, to be very frank with you, there are brands that will leverage you if you think that your view counts matter, and they get a sense of that, or if you don't know any better, they'll convince you that the view counts are what matter. Some of them, they're earnest about it. Some of them, the view counts matter to them. But I'm telling you that you guys need to consider the fact that if you take view counts out of the equation and you imagine for 1 minute, how much would I charge to make a video for their YouTube channel? Because guess what? Views don't even come into the equation if you start thinking about that.
The other thing that creators don't think about when they're doing these brand deals and think about what to price themselves is the fact that when you put a video on YouTube, that video lives in perpetuity forever, or at least until you take it down. So that brand has that piece of content out there for or indefinitely. So
you have to also, if they don't put in the contract how long the video stays up, you probably need to add that to the contract. And y'all are afraid to add things to the contract. And you need to have the right for both of you to dissociate. You need to have the right for both of you to be able to dissociate. Because the thing is, if the brand has a scandal, you want to be able to have the ability to take that video down. And if you have a scandal, you damn sure better believe they're going to make you take that video down. And sometimes even if they don't, our homie Andrew Edwards, it wasn't even that there was no scandals involved. The product he reviewed was still selling. They did an update, I believe, to the product. Tell me if I'm telling the story wrong. And they just didn't want the old product out there, even though no one had a problem and no one would care. Like, and
yeah,
they had...
I don't know the whole story, but yeah, they wanted him to take the video down for whatever reason. And he was like...
And it was one of his most popular videos. And he was like, no.
No.
But you have to see what's in the contract of if a certain amount of time passes, can they tell you to take down your own content? By the way, I know a lot of you want brand deals, and if you could, you'd get half of your content to be sponsored, and you'd be like, oh, thank God, I can just I can quit my day job. I can live off of YouTube now because I have enough AdSense and I have enough brand deals and half my content is like. And guess what? If something goes wrong, doesn't even have to be you. and I'm not naming any names or anything like that, but it's like, it doesn't have to be you. But if someone even associated with you has a big enough scandal, then you have to take down all your brand deal videos, half of your body of work would disappear overnight, like Thanos just snapped them out of existence. So you really probably shouldn't, unless you're smart like Linus and you have everything locked down, like you probably shouldn't have all or half or a large library of your content be sponsored brand deals in the first place, because you then don't have the ownership of your own brand. You don't have the ownership of your YouTube channel. The brand owns your YouTube channel because they can tell you to take down all of your content. And why would you give the brand more leverage than even your own audience or your own self?
Let's get into that deeper. So Marquez, good friend of mine, Marquez says that he turns down 99% of brand deals and things like that anyway, just because of conflicting things or whatever the case may be. But he does not accept 99% of the brand deals that he gets in his inbox. Yes, of course, it would be ideal to get a lot of brand deals, and rightfully so. But you have to be careful about how many that you're willing to do and how many brand videos you put on your channel. Because if every video that you put on the channel is a sponsored video or integration or something, you are really in danger of alienating your audience because they don't want to see that. Think about how you feel as a viewer when you go to somebody's channel and you see every other video or every video they put out there sponsored by such. You're probably going to call them a sellout, or you're going to be like, man, I don't want to watch this.
The exception is Linus. We'll get to that later. The exception's Linus. He's brilliant.
Or I didn't come to here watch no ads, blah, blah, blah. But obviously, we know that brand deals are how some creators put food on the table when they fund their team.
Or how they make the best content there is, because it's high risk, high expense, or it requires a team.
But still, you have to think about your audience when you consider how many sponsorships and brand deals you take and you want to integrate into your content strategy per month. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overflood your content with sponsored videos. That's not a good look.
If you're overly dependent on the brands, you have no control and you have no leverage. And the thing is, if you get to the point of being a creator that has a team, and the 3, 4, 5 people on your team, if you have to get a certain amount of brand deals a year to make payroll, you don't control your business, because you can't even protect your people, because the brands can pressure you. You do not want to ever put yourself in that situation. I know a lot of you want to rush to quitting your day job, and the easiest theoretical way for many of you in your heads to make money on YouTube is AdSense and brand deals. Get my views up, get my subs up. I'll get all of that, get my TikTok up, get my Instagram up, and I'll get the ad money and I'll get the brand deals, and it'll all be okay. And I don't have to sell to my audience because I'm uncomfortable to sell to my audience. Oh, affiliate marketing. Oh, that seems shady, or my audience won't like that, or they don't have money, and Like, again, you're in a way, it's mostly answering insecurity, because I'll tell you why creators get leveraged, even big creators, right? I'll tell a secret. I'll spill the tea no one wants to spill. People are afraid to actually start a real business. People are afraid to be called a sellout. People are afraid to ask their audience to support them with their wallets. And so the easiest thing to do to answer your own insecurities and being just a little bit like chicken is if you just always post your YouTube content for free and don't ask for anything but views and subs, and to support me with attention, just give me attention. And if you say, I'm only going to ask for money from the brands, I'm not going to ask money from y'all, or, just the ones who can afford it, buy a $20 t-shirt or hoodie or something like that. It is an easy way to not have to have the anxiety of being rejected or having to take any criticism. The problem is you don't control jack. And the minute that either public opinion or the brands turn on you, you're done. Your career's over, because now you can't afford your team. You can't afford to not work a 9-to-5 job because you were afraid to build a business where it's nothing between you and the people who want to support you.
I don't know why the quote came into my head, but you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah. It was, I believe in Harvey Dent. But I'm just pointing it out there because a lot of people don't realize that you should not be giving someone more equity in your brand than you and your audience have. And when you are beholden to the brand deals to make everything work, that's what happens. That's why Mr. Beast isn't really doing as many brand deals anymore, is the brands wanted creative control. He said this in a podcast. I'm not speaking out of turn. He said he decided he'll just build his own businesses that his fans can support and that people that don't even know him can support. Look at Peter McKinnon and what he's doing with Polar Pro. You don't even have to know Peter McKinnon to buy those Polar Pro ND filters, and he's their like the face of their things. So like there's that. His backpack, you know, there's just like these great things. Look at his coffee brand. Look at Emma Chamberlain. There's gonna be people who buy Chamberlain coffee that don't know who Emma Chamberlain is, and they can buy it more than once. Creators are starting their own business. Mr. Beast Burger. Creators are starting their own businesses because they're realizing that they don't want to end up feeling like they're in the pockets of the brands and the brands have control over them. And again, one day, God forbid, you're a human being and you're not a saint, and like woke Twitter decides your career is over and everything like that. You want to be in a position where the people who rock with you can rock with you whenever they want and just, you know, support you with their wallets and their eyeballs however they want, and ignore the haters, you know, or whoever, or the brands that like, you know, say, oh, can't deal with the heat. Like, it's like, and I'm just saying that I'm like, you know, whatever, because I'm just pointing out that you have to build a career in this industry that's truly built to last. And the only way to be in control of your own destiny is to know that the people who want to rock with you can always rock with you. You know, I mean, I don't agree with all their content, but Nelk doesn't take they don't make any ad revenue, and they don't take any brand deals, and they can do what they want to do in their content for the audience that wants to support it with their wallets. Because guess what? There's an audience for everybody. There's an audience for everybody. There's people who want to rock with you. Let them. Like, let them support you financially. And the thing is, if somebody else doesn't want to, whether it's a brand or anybody else, they don't have to. The great thing about America is everybody can vote with their wallet if they want.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I don't want to go too off the track here because we are the live stream entitled Brand Deals and How to Talk to Brands. So obviously we're talking about how to get brand deals. So I don't want to go too much off the beaten path about.
I like to hear what you think, Viper.
But what's up?
I always like to hear what you think.
Oh no, I don't want to go too much off the beaten path of what the actual live stream is about. But I did want to put that out there just because you do want to be careful with how many brand deals you get and put on your channel and things like that, because you don't want to alienate the audience, because at the end of the day, the audience and your relationship with your audience is the most important thing in your life as a creator. That's it.
That's what you have to protect.
You got to protect it at all costs. So no brand deal is worth alienating your audience.
But you also don't want to work with a brand just for the money, and then they're not acting in the best interest of your audience.
That too.
That's why you in the contract have to have the right. Brands will cut you off if they think it's in their best interest, but you as a creator need to be able to pull that ripcord too. If you find out that a brand is doing something you don't agree with, or your morals or your ethics and everything like that, you need to be able to pull the ripcord on them and cancel them. Like, you need to be able to walk away.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because, you know, creators don't think like this, but it goes both ways. It's not about
goes both ways, Hobie.
It goes both ways. It's not about being like the holding and being good for the brand. The brand has to be good for you and your audience as well.
Gotta be.
The brand has to uphold to your standards too. It's not just about you upholding
your
brand standards. Got to, man.
Haven't we seen that where creators said, you know what, I don't rock with this brand anymore because XYZ?
Hate to be the bearer of bad news, and some of y'all probably aren't ready for it, but the moment you start a YouTube channel and you look to make money from it, you have become your own brand and your own business, and you have to treat it as such if you want to protect it.
100%.
It is what it is. There's no getting around it. Like, that might not have been your original intention, but guess what? You're in the game now.
Welcome to entrepreneurship, baby.
You're in the game, man. You're in the game, right?
You in the game. Get off the bench. You in there.
Let's go.
Let's go. But we got Daniel with the $20 super chat coming through. Thank you for that. When doing a multiple product review video, would it be inappropriate to provide an affiliate link to a competitor product? In my case, I personally know the owners of both products, and I don't know if that would be impolite. You know, what I would do in this situation, Daniel, is I would just be very thoughtful and have that relationship and say, you know what, on this video, I could not do that. Now, if people ask in the comments, you just do right by those individual commenters. But I think that in this case, if you're doing a specific video, whichever thing or product or brand that you're covering, you make that the priority. And then if you're doing a different product, a different competing thing on another video, you make that the priority. That fair is fair. You know, you give equal value to whatever it is you're doing and whoever you're working with, but you also give the value that everybody individually one-on-one asks for in the comments, and you just give them the best recommendation you can. So again, you just tell the truth, and you just stand by your conscience, and you just do right by each individual relationship.
Now I
That's
will
all.
tell you what I've done in a past video. Now I didn't link the competitive product, but I did tell somebody that I had a brand send me a product, and it wasn't really priced very competitively compared to the other options around it. And I told my audience, I'm like, listen, this is a decent product, but you can get other similar products just like this for much, much less. So just be on the lookout for those products. So yeah, just be out again. Tell the truth. Just tell the truth.
Exactly. Denise asked, sponsored equals money changing hands, or is there a contract? Ideally, it should be both. It should be both. Now, there are some brands, even established brands, that don't always put everything in writing. If they don't, you should. Daniel Batal has a great, on his website, he has a free boilerplate contract for creators and influencers doing brand deals that the company doesn't send you one, but always request a contract. And you can always, again, I go and I like Frono's Photo taught me this, Jared Poland. I redline anything I don't like and I add my own conditions and then I go, here you go, I fixed it for you, like politely. And I just send back whatever terms I want. Like I told you, a lot of brands want to do 90 days exclusivity. I come back and I go, I want to do 30 days. A lot of times I will also say, but hey, I'll give you licensing for this long, as long as you give me everything I want. And then when I throw licensing in of, we can use some of this on our socials and you'll give us B-roll and you'll give us some of your photos. Like, okay, yeah, let's do, we hadn't even thought of that yet. Or, we were going to ask about that. It's like, yeah, let's go. That even helps change rates sometimes, is being able to talk about the licensing. And if they don't bring up licensing, you should, because then you're more savvy in their eyes and it changes the negotiations to where you might be able to ask for more. Licensing is always extra. So always ask about the licensing and remember to be in control of how long the video stays up on your channel. And again, having some type of clause where without a financial penalty, if you need to pull it because they breach something, or because if, again, if they reserve the right to tell you they can take it down for disassociation for ethics, you can do the same, and you should have that same clause in reverse. So don't let them dictate all the terms. Like, just again, but remember, if you're small, you have the least amount of leverage, but you can get a little bit more leverage by being as savvy as possible and talking the talk and walking the walk. Don't act like a small fry and you will be treated less so like one. That's a big difference there. That's a big difference. Even in being a content creator, you guys should stop waiting to blow up to take everything seriously and to do things like say, I'm gonna get a website. I would do that day zero. I had a website before I had a YouTube channel. I'd have a website. When you're thinking, I might be able to get a brand deal, but even if you don't use mine or you don't buy into me and my company, like doing it for you, or later when we sell the templates, like go and make yourself a media kit in Canva that costs you $0. Just try it for yourself, just to have one. Start putting your, pricing together. Like, just start thinking like you're taking this seriously. Start thinking like a pro, and you won't keep feeling like an amateur.
Damn.
And people won't treat you like one if you start, again, look the part. At least look the part. I'm not telling you fake it till you make it. I'm telling you, dress for the job you want. At least look the part.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
Mitch Burns says, my problem is it's hard for me to ask for money, especially since my channel is still so small. Then Mitch, start with not asking for money. Start with the affiliate stuff so that the audience can buy things on your recommendations. So start with that. Then start asking for products that help you make better content. So start doing that. And that will help warm you up. And by the way, start role playing with friends and getting used to asking for money. Birdie Lynn TV, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate y'all. Also, again, if you guys have questions you absolutely want or need answered, excuse me, easiest way to get my attention is the super chat if you feel like doing that. Like, no, we're going to talk about being afraid to ask for money. I'm not afraid to ask for support. I'm not afraid to ask for support. Look, it's great to get brand deals. We're sponsored today by StreamYard and by TubeBuddy. It's also great to have the direct support of your audience so that you don't ever have to feel like you need the brands to put you on. And it's also great to not be beholden or dependent on YouTube. I love you, YouTube. I love you. But also, sometimes y'all mess up. So again, don't want to be reliant on everything. So again, If you can have a balance, oh, Angelique, if you can, I don't know if you're having technical difficulties, but if you can come back into the green room, we can get you on. So whenever you work out your technical difficulties, we're happy to have you on. But yeah, balance, ad revenue, brand deals, directly selling to your audience with either membership, support, donations, e-commerce, Patreon, something where it's you and the audience, you and the average consumer. And then also look at affiliate because there's not gatekeeping. And if the audience trusts your recommendations, the affiliate marketing will work. So balance that stuff out.
Thing we really need to talk about real quick here is that do not put all your eggs in one basket. Like Roberto just said, love YouTube, but you can't rely on YouTube to make a living. I'm sorry, you just can't. The platform is too unstable. They make too many changes, and sometimes the changes will radically affect the money you make. You don't know if you're gonna run afoul of the computer or whatever the case may be, but always best to diversify your revenue streams, go on different platforms. I myself, I'm on Clubhouse, and I just got the ability to receive money from Clubhouse now, or I got the ability.
I sent you $5. Was I the first person to send you?
Right? Yeah. So yeah. Yes. So now whenever I host a Clubhouse room, people can actually send me money. So I can make money on Clubhouse now, which is pretty cool. You got YouTube. I mean, you can do podcasts and do things via podcast.
I'm surprised you're not on TikTok.
I am on TikTok. I just don't post there, but I'm there.
Okay. Yeah, like if you start posting, you can get big on TikTok, Viper. You have the personality for it.
Yeah, I have the personality. I just need more consistently to post more consistently there, consistently on TikTok.
I think you can get. I mean, the monetization there is trash, but it's better than zero. So
no doubt. But the point that we're making here is that be on multiple platforms if you can. I'm not saying kill yourself trying to be everywhere because that's just not a
right.
Good. But if you want to make money, you got to give yourself the most amount of opportunity to make money that you can.
Yeah, I'm going to go for an ask right now. Hey, you guys and gals and everybody, I need a huge favor. I actually need two things from you, and it costs you $0. There's two things I need from you. It costs you $0. When you have a chance after the stream, if you still haven't deleted Facebook, I need you to go to facebook.com/RobertoBlake2, and I need you to follow me on Facebook. And here's what you're going to get. Number one, just in case YouTube notifications aren't working, you're going to get more of my live streams and podcasts because I multi-stream because of our good friends over at StreamYard. But the reason I need you guys to help me over on Facebook is I'm just 300 followers shy of being able to monetize my Facebook page, which you can do when you have 10,000 followers. I'm 300 shy. What I'm going to be doing is, one, I'm going to be uploading my YouTube content also to Facebook directly, which means when YouTube isn't notifying you, and then you're going to be able to watch stuff there. But there's also going to be some content that is not a YouTube video. Some things like some of my infographics and some of my photography and some of my other things that I'm going to be posting over to my Facebook page. And there's going to be things my team is going to be making in terms of downloads and resources and things. And we're going to notify you guys when all of that free stuff is available over on Facebook. So I need you guys to follow over there because I need 300 more of you, and I'm so close. And then I can monetize on Facebook. And for those of you who have Facebook followings, you guys should be doing the same because Facebook sometimes pays double the ad revenue of YouTube. So if you're not rocking with Facebook, I understand, but it is one kind of an exit strategy where you can have some additional ad revenue potentially, and then also another way for people to straight up get your content. Because the thing is, wherever you guys want to consume or wherever you guys can consume or whatever will send out the bloody notifications, I just want you to consume my content.
Boom.
So I just need you guys to follow me over on facebook.com/RobertoBlake2. And the final plug and the final ask for you guys is I need you guys to go and listen to my lo-fi royalty-free, copyright-free music over on youtube.com/Zenbuster because we got free copyright-free music over there. It's good. It'll help you relax, take your stress levels down, ease some of your anxiety, and we're very close to the watch time hours we need for that channel to be monetized. Because again, multiple streams of revenue, all the exit strategies, no eggs in one basket, all the things. Help your boy out. Let's go.
All the plug, baby. All the plug.
Yeah. So now that I'm done plugging myself, welcome to the stream, our good friend Angelique.
I know her.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
No, thank you for joining us. For those who are not familiar with you in the audience, do you want to go ahead and introduce and plug yourself, Angelique?
Well, I'm really not good at talking about myself. That's probably off the top. Right now I'm marketing director for Marissa Romero. She has a larger channel than mine. I just started, and the plan was never really for me to start a channel. It was, what I did. I was a freelancer for a long time, and then I started my own agency. And really it was just more of like, as you learn and as you grow through any kind of industry, you start to see problems that you can solve. And that was just what I became. It was a professional problem solver. So Marissa was referred to me for one particular thing, and we just saw an opportunity to kind of partner up. And it's kind of been our story since then, but it's been an amazing journey. I've learned a lot about YouTube, where marketing in general doesn't necessarily mean that people know anything about YouTube. I mean, that's a whole different ballgame, but I love this topic. I love this conversation because I feel like this is an opportunity to open the door to kind of this bridge that needs to be built between brands and like quote unquote influencers. I don't think that there's a conversation that's happening that is like equal across all sides. And I've sat on the other side from the brand side for a long time. And influencers used to be like, let's set up a photo shoot, or let's set up a video shoot, right? Let's set up something where we can use your face and we can leverage you and your audience in a different way. And social media has really changed all of that and what that opportunity looks like. So that's been my favorite thing, is just jumping into that and kind of realizing what those opportunities are and how to have those discussions. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And it's great to have that perspective and another voice. What I'm ultimately very interested in is, what do you see that isn't really talked about or mentioned as somebody that comes from the brand side? Because we hear it from the influencer side all the time. What is something that you feel is either misinformation or is not said or spoken coming from the brand side?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay? Because I'm doing my whole setup, and so I'm just using my laptop. Is that all right?
Yeah, no, you're coming in fine.
Okay, great. Okay. From the influencer side, they're looking for someone to pay them to promote a product, right? And from the brand's perspective, they're looking for an audience that they can leverage to get results. What happens is the brands are looking for influencers to get results, but they're not considering the impact that their ask could have on that influencer. For instance, demanding that you do your pitch within the first 30 seconds or a minute could cost them the entire video and a significant decrease in watch time. That would be terrible. Like a couple $100, even a couple $1,000 is not worth that if it's great content, because you could make that up over time with Google AdSense. So just understanding what those analytics are, understanding what those influential factors are, and how they influence both sides of the equation, I think is the conversation that needs to start happening. That's a conversation that I have designed in detail recently, which is why I was able to get a sponsor interested in my channel and my influence I am a brand new channel. I'm just barely over 2 months old. So it's really marketing, because I understand marketing. I understand what it is that they're looking for. I understand what it is that matters to me on this side and how that would impact my ability to grow. So that's really what it is understanding influence and impact.
You sound like Sean Cannell.
As our friend Sean Cannell would like to say.
You sound like Sean Cannell, man.
Hey, Sean. You know what I just told him? I just told him earlier today, I think his baby might be America's favorite baby right now. He's
Probably.
So cute.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Who do we got to talk to get him on
Sean
the
Bradley
burger?
Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And if you think about that, even something like that, Sean Cannell's baby, how many marketers, how many sponsors would die to have Sean Cannell's baby sponsor them, and the amount of reach and influence that a
you know
baby
what?
has with no channel at all.
Just get a blanket with all the logos, just send the patches and everything like that. It's like, we'll give you run of blanket advertising.
That's
Like,
right.
remember good old run of site advertising? It's like, hey, it's like, brand, come through. Literally just send us a blanket with your logo on it and everything like that. It's like, remember the one dude, I forget his name, who used to be the, buy this shirt dude, where he would literally just like, he will wear a shirt for however many days you pay for him to wear your logo. Like, it was like he was a walking billboard. I love stuff like that. I still love stuff like that. I think that that's still awesome. You don't have to be the first. I think that that is dope. Like,
All
I
right.
would love to see an influencer go and like do buy a Tesla and then do a brand deal where the brand like pays them to like wrap the thing in like something with their decal for like 6 months or a year or something like that. I would love to see something. You can like D-brand, something like that with D-brand would be like sick. It's like yeah, D-brand like decided to sponsor my Tesla for the rest of the year would be like a title of a video. It's like it's like the first D-brand Tesla. Like, that would be like a whole thing.
But let's talk about that. Like, why would they be interested in a deal like that? What is it that they get from partnering in that sense? And that's the conversation that most like influencers, most creators cannot have. They cannot have a conversation about the win-win. And that's really important to me. It's important to me that not only are both sides winning, but that it makes sense, and that they're winning in a way that is intended and designed with forward thinking to be able to carry through and leverage this moment to be able to get to your next step and make that all make sense. So, like, what does that mean from let's just use Wix, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have an audience that something like Wix would serve them, and because I'm saying the Wix because really anybody could get Wix. Wix is a very easy sponsor, by the way, to go after. But let's say Wix didn't come to you and you wanted to do something with them. Like, how could a small creator or creator that does not have a significant portfolio, how could they go after them? Wix is looking for signups. Wix is also looking for a creative approach so that you can introduce their product to
They're looking for
audience.
brand recognition. They're looking for brand recognition. You know what?
They're also looking for uses. So you may use it in a different way, and you may have a different audience that may use it that they can't target right off the bat, that they may not even know that they can target, right? So
if someone,
even just having that example could be a great way in.
I'll tell you exactly how somebody gets a great pitch, even if they were a smaller channel that does great for the brand and is smart to do, is, for one thing, a lot of you don't realize Wix has a really good affiliate program on the signups. It pays per signup, and it pays significantly per signup. Okay. Most web hosting companies, for every signup, you're going to make $50 to $100 per signup. So, you know, affiliate marketing for the win, guys. You were all there. Oh, give me brand deals. Give me brand deals. It's like, you don't even need the gatekeeping approval. You don't even need a big audience to make $1,000 a month off of affiliate marketing. You don't even need a big audience. You just need a handful of buyers. Think about it. If you're making $100 for everyone who actually decides, I actually need a website, you can make $1,000 because 10 people rock with you. All of you need to stop being insecure about how much attention you do or don't have. Like, the end. But like, here's my pitch. If I was like a small channel back in the day, like I used back in my day, like if I was doing the freelance thing again, if I had a channel like the way my channel used to be with the tutorials and stuff like that, here's a spectacle video that's a great pitch for Wix. If you're unfortunately in my situation, well, actually, I have one of my grandmother on my father's side is still alive, and my mom's dad is still alive. So, all right, you can literally go, my teaching of the video title is like, I taught my 80-year-old grandpa how to build a website, or even watch my 80-year-old grandpa build a website. Like, or my 80-year-old grandpa's website is better than yours. Like, that's like a spectacle driven like title. It's something that can be shared. You can literally build memes out of it, and it would get the name recognition out there for the thing. Okay. And it would be a video that even if you're a smaller channel or creator, that could potentially blow up. And it also is a video concept that lends itself to multi-platform, because you can get out of the production of that video a couple of good TikTok memes, some Instagram reel stuff. You can really get something out of that, and it's a decent enough pitch. And the thing is, if you can't get the money that you want up front out of them, then you get some money up front, and you also make the best video you can regardless of how much they pay. But you go ahead and say, I want to be able to keep the affiliate links in the videos, because for everybody who does go off of this, I absolutely want those commissions for everybody that sees this. And the thing is, because by the way, it's not impossible that you could even get local press off of that video by just literally talking to the local news people in social media, especially if it's a slow damn news cycle and they need a human interest story. And then all of a sudden your video might be viral for all you know.
So what I would hope, I see some questions in the comments. You make such a great point about making sure that it is the best video that you can produce. I mean, you're not going to produce a $500 video versus a, in 2 months from now, you're going to do something that reflects the price that you negotiated. Like, that's garbage. Don't do that. That only hurts you. That's not helping anyone, and it's definitely not helping you. Like, make it a $10,000 quality video. Like, do your absolute best. Like, get somebody in on it. Get an intern. Get somebody who's looking to build their portfolio to help you, to make sure that the next sponsor that you talk to is going to see the quality that you can produce. And I think that's the other thing, is that people go, oh, okay, well, I feel shy, so this is the level that I'm going to show up to today for this project, and I'll do better next time. And I think deep down inside, we know what we want it to look like. We know where those resources are. Like, it's 2021. There's resources everywhere. So
what you just said, Angelique, answers this question from the Magical Crafter. Any tips on getting a hold of large brands? Some are quite difficult to get in touch with, and I don't want to annoy them with too many follow-ups in case someone is reading. Step number 1, make yourself very attractive to those larger brands with the quality of your content. Number 2, make content and become an advocate for them as if you already were sponsored and were already sponsored for your dream budget, and start to go ahead and incorporate them into your dream projects, and then tag them in those things when you make them, just so they can see what you did. For one thing, a lot of those brands will retweet you, and they have bigger audiences than you, and then you get exposure to the other advocates and the other fanboys and fangirls of that brand, and then you incorporate them into your audience and your tribe. So a lot of you are afraid to work for free for the brands as hard as you would if they were paying you, not realizing that's an opportunity to grow your audience on their back by getting extra exposure. And I really can't stand when people cry about how exposure doesn't pay the bills. It's like, how do you think you're getting paid for ad revenue? Exposure is already paying for, like, people buy ads. What do you think they're paying for? The brands are paying for exposure when they buy ads. The brands are paying for exposure when they do influencer marketing. How is anyone going to say that exposure doesn't pay the bills? That's all it does. Like, that's the entire point. Like, the entire point is
about exposure.
The entire point is no one can buy from you if they don't know who you are. So exposure has a value. That's why people buy advertising. That's why Google's entire business model works.
It's all exposure. It's really what it is.
Yeah.
So the thing is, they're not willing to advocate for a brand that hasn't already put money in their pockets, a brand they already use, by the way, a brand that already is in their narrative, and then even use that to literally build your own audience. I built my audience on the back of Adobe software, off the back of fans who wanted to learn Photoshop, learn video editing in Premiere Pro. I built my audience off the back of Sony fans and Asus laptop fans who needed cheap laptops that could handle video editing just like me. I built my audience off the back of both Apple fans and people who criticize Apple, because I'm both.
Well, I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor that one of the side effects of getting the vaccine is that if you're an Apple user, that you become a PC or Android lover. I don't know. Viper, can you help us out? Can you verify if this is true?
I can confirm that these rumors are definitely not true. I'm sorry.
So it's slander and lies.
It's lies, definitely. But
I'm spreading rumors responsibly through comedy. It's fine.
I gotta go make me some pizza. So Roberto, thank you for having me, sir. Appreciate you. Angelique, I'd like to finally meet you, kind of. Finally.
Yeah.
You know, talk more daily.
Yeah, we'll do it again sometime. Viper.
No, y'all have a good evening.
Bye. We'll see you later. Tomorrow, actually, coffee talk. If anybody's watching.
Coffee talk in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, we join every day, Monday through Friday in the morning for coffee talk. Just chopping it up.
Clubhouse gang.
You know, this is my first live, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you're doing just fine. I would never have guessed that.
Very much. I had some technical difficulties, but I thought, I mean, for Roberto Blake actually to get up on his live, like, you run, you don't walk.
Right on. And in the later for the replay, I'll be sure to link your channel in the description. And because Vipe joined me, I have to link his as well. But Angelique, let's take a peek at my media kit, and I'd love your thoughts and feedback on this. The concept of media kits is something that a lot of influencers, both large and small, ignore. And you've been on the brand side and everything like that. Tell me something. Doesn't a media kit help? And just tell me your own thoughts on this. Doesn't a media kit really help a brand with their decision-making process, and also just shorthands a lot of what they would ask for in god-awful email threads?
Yes and no. It's really hard to craft up one media kit that would answer questions across the board, but so that there's this basic, like a hub of information, right, that they're looking for. It's like, what's your audience? It's just the core watch time.
Well, actually, before we look at my media kit, why don't you run us through the questions that brands need answers from when working with an influencer?
So it depends on their goal. And we were just talking about this when we were talking about influence and exposure. Most brands know that there needs to be multiple touch points before someone who doesn't know them will trust them enough to make a purchase and to move down that funnel. It's really hard to build trust if you're not providing value. So that's kind of the first step in just making sure that they have these opportunities to not only share value, it's got to be different types of value, and it has to be able to be relatable, connect with their audience, and oftentimes they're using these, strategies, funnel strategies, based off of consumer behavior. So if somebody opens something, or if they look, or if they click and then they don't, move forward, like, how is it that they're engaging? And so they have to come up with all of these creative strategies, and they're very complicated and complex to be able to get them to the goal, which is obviously to make a sale, right? And then you want to keep them forever. When someone's on your list, you want to be able to keep them. So that's where the relationship part comes in. What they're looking to do for an influencer is they're looking to help make that process streamlined, shorter, and to be able to make things, to build that relationship based off of your relationship with them. So in a sense, like the guy who just asked the question, the guy or girl, who was it? It's Crafter, right?
Yes, yes, she's a wonderful lady.
Right. So just to answer her question, because there was a couple other questions. There's a couple guys who had questions all kind of around the same thing. So we'll just go ahead and answer the basic topic of, like, how do you reach out to brands, and what is it that they're looking for? They want to know what you can do. They want to know what you'll put in action, and they want to know how they're going to get results. So the first thing you need to ask them is, what is it that you're looking for? Because their goal or their objective could be different. They could just be looking for direct sales, or they could be looking for you to put people into their funnel and that they'll handle the rest. Sometimes it's not as easy as, like, sending someone to a landing page or to, like, a sales page and you get a commission. Some sponsor deals aren't like that. So they really have to, you're just sending them traffic, and that is what the actual goal is. But they really want you to craft this up and make it relatable. So the best thing that you could do is to come up with a pitch that is a part of your media kit. And perhaps this is almost like a separate page that you just tailor if you're sending this out to people with the pitch, right? And you show them show them what it is that you would do, show them the value, show them how you would use their product to build the relationship for them. So then you're kind of just like handing it over, right? Does that make sense?
Yes. So it's interesting because it sounds like our like checklist here is going to come down to something like you need to have the opportunities available to work with you in terms of the different types of ways that they can integrate into your content. They need to know what they're getting in terms of all of your sponsored or produced content, like basically what the features of that are. Well, what do I get with that? What's the package look like? They need to know if there is a package in terms of multiple opportunities and touch points, either across platforms or multiple videos. They also need to have some understanding of your previous body of work. Who have you worked with before in the past? Like, what have you done? They need to know, obviously, the data on your demographics, your reach, your engagement, all of those things. And it would be nice to also see previous examples or samples of your work in some form or fashion. Does that sound right in terms of just kind of an overall checklist of what brands want and need to know?
Yeah. So it's almost like think of it like a Tinder situation where they're looking to match you up with someone who you have, like interest, right? Someone that you're going to get along with, someone where it's going to make sense for both of you to spend your time together and the investment of time too. So that I would say they're looking at all of your credentials and what your profile looks like. They're also looking at what your media kit looks like. They're looking for what those examples would look like, because just because you said that you're going to do a video, just because you said you were going to put posts on your Instagram or you're going to tweet something out, doesn't mean it's going to represent their brand in a way that they're going to want to represent it.
They also need to know that there's alignment with you, but also alignment with the audience.
Right. No, some of them don't care though. Some of them do not care about that at all, especially if they're driving quick sales. They don't even care about that. They're just looking for audiences and numbers. And so I think that's where that part, because you're right, there are some that do. And those are generally higher ticket or more complex sales processes. But for those quick wins, those quick sales, impulse buy type of things like Dollar Shave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't care. They're just looking.
Broad consumer product. They just need exposure. No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Even with something like Audible, they just need signups and so on and so forth. And, same thing with like, say, Skillshare. And then that might actually, they also have unlimited options because they're broad market in terms of they don't have to cater to a specific niche or a specific demo. So then the pricing might be lower regardless of your size or regardless of your leverage. My Hat Man says, honestly, that sounds like too much work for not enough reward. Rather do affiliate marketing or super affiliate deals. For a lot of people, that's true. And for a lot of people, that's the situation. Because a lot of people, I keep trying to explain it. This is why, again, I'm not negging brand deals and I'm not negging AdSense revenue. I'm just one of the people that's honest with you about the actual downsides and that downsides exist. And that's not all sunshines and rainbows out here.
Right.
Yeah.
To Mr. Hatman, though, even if you're trying to do affiliate marketing, you have to put in some level of work or you're wasting your time there too, because you're not going to get results. So regardless of if you're trying to get traffic to an affiliate link or commissions or whatever it is that you're AdSense, it's the same thing in regards to you have to understand what you're doing to get the best result.
There's like an effort value ratio thing that I've been working on because I actually am working on a video that will actually explains the fastest ways to make money online. And then because I did a video like that before, but I also want to do one that says the easiest ways to make money online. Because again, people are going to think that's clickbait or a get rich quick thing where it's actually that I'm like debating with myself about, okay, is it faster to make $1,000 on YouTube because how many views do you have to get that? Or is it faster to sell this much print on demand? Or is it faster to do this? Or is it like I literally am just going to break down the stats on what takes more effort, what the cost up front is, barrier to entry. I'm actually literally going to measure it, almost scientifically, but but I want to walk you through this though real quick because I feel like this could be interesting.
All right.
So we have my media kit and the first glance stuff is obviously just kind of a intro to me and just like kind of just some positioning stuff. But I immediately go into, now again, my updated one is going to be laid out slightly differently in order of priority. But I lead with the opportunities to work with me in terms of there are different platforms and there's different types of integrations. So I literally lead with that.
Okay.
Then I move on to what is included in branded content. I go into audience alignment just to make it kind of clear before we get into the data of that, who my audience is. But I'm going to actually move the data closer to the top in the next iteration of this. But here is like a data audience breakdown. Again, this is from early 2019. So again, these stats they're just an example at this point versus being relevant to what my brand is today. These numbers are back from when I had a 400K anyway. This is the beginning of 2019. But I give that relevant
Look at you now.
Yeah. Hey, $500,000. But I also go into previous integrations. So again, body of work and representation. Also here, I'm showing off a little bit of the kinds of like product photography quality there too. And that's especially relevant from an Instagram standpoint, but also for a YouTube thumbnail standpoint. And then I go into some different packages. Again, these are not reflective of today's rates. I'm also one of the only influencers that shows my actual rates, even though this is a little outdated. But it just kind of gives people an understanding of what is out there in the market. I don't have to worry about that undermining me because, again, all of this is negotiable. These are also outdated rates. I've negotiated higher and occasionally lower than this anyway. So I have like all the leverage I need. I don't have to worry about, oh, you have this price listed somewhere. It doesn't work that way. A conversation's a conversation. But that just gives you a overview of at least the media kit that I was using for the last little while in my negotiations. How well do you feel that that covers a lot of the bases that we talked about? And like, what's your take on that?
Okay, here's the thing. And I'm sure there's probably people like sponsors that could be watching this video and listening to this. But the truth is they don't have a whole lot of attention. So you really have to point things out for them as they go through so many different things, and really what they're looking for, whatever those top 3 or 4 things are, that is part of their criteria in qualifying someone. Someone like you're already qualified. They're just looking for how much. That's all that they're looking for. How much and what do we get for that amount? Like they don't even care. They know you have a significant reach at this scale. So I think someone who is a smaller channel than you are, right? They need this information for sure. We have a lot of this type of information in Marissa's media kit. So let's be fair. You know, she's 164,000 subs right now. And we have a lot of that information in because there's a lot of stuff people don't know that you're not going to get off of Social Blade, like the size of our email list.
Yeah, exactly.
Social Blade's not going to tell you that.
That's why I have that in there. And there's a lot of other things that Social Blade doesn't have that could also be, it's not that it's misleading, it's that it skews the data in another direction. It also doesn't account for every single platform. In fact, right now, Clubhouse is a very relevant thing, and it doesn't have any way of measuring that either. Yeah.
Well, Clubhouse is moving fast.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they really are moving fast. There's been people who've been sponsored, rooms that have been sponsored already.
I know, it's a big deal.
Moderators
you know
are being paid.
You know what's another thing that you can't get off Social Blade? Podcast info. You can't get the audio info, and there's not really great public metrics out there. So going ahead and putting your own metrics in, and even screenshots if you want to, for your email list and for your audio podcast side, could be leverage and could be value, because that's valued differently, and you can price cross promotion integrations and campaigns and so on and so forth. So there's like, I agree with you, but I even think for someone at my level, not every brand unfortunately does all their homework and all their vetting, and they use cursory glances. So sometimes it is leverage, because then they're like, oh, I didn't know all this was on the table, or oh, I hadn't considered that you offer this thing too.
Right.
And there's always that kind of thing. So just always,
let's go back through, scroll back down, because you start off with like who you are, right?
Yeah.
And I like that you put the opportunities up front, because that's why they're there, right? So they don't want to learn, they don't want to read your book or your bio or your about me
Yeah. I don't really talk about me as much as I always talk about my audience.
Well, they need to know about you because they need to know like what it is that's important to you and how you represent things, just to make sure that I'm not going to say that values align in the traditional sense, but that what you value and how you value things, right? In the sense of a product or an opportunity.
They just want to make sure you're aligned.
That's right.
That you're a good vehicle for what they're trying to distribute.
Exactly. Yep. So then you have, so then keep going down. I know somebody asked a question, but I can't find it.
I'll post, if you know what the question is, I can find and post it.
Yeah, I can't find it now. They were like, hey, at Angelique, and now I just can't find it. So if you can ask it again, if you're still on, that would be great. I didn't want to leave anybody off.
If anyone does want to reach out, by the way, real quick for me, and then I'll let you plug your contact info real quick. If you guys want to reach out because you want to work with me, you can either email me at info@robertoblake.com, or if you're ready to work and get in touch and work together, go to awesomecreatoracademy.com where all my coaching stuff is, and we can work one-on-one, or you can join my membership group. Also, I have DMs open in Twitter. And Angelique, go ahead and plug your stuff if people want to follow up with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to follow up with me, I'm pretty simple. Just hit me up on Instagram. You know, I'm a real person, and I do message back. I'm not taking clients right now. That is not something that I'm doing. But you can subscribe to my channel, because everything that I used to do for clients right now, I'm setting up in series on my channel. So that's how I'm getting started. That's kind of my break right now, just because I do have so many other things going on. I just couldn't take on clients in that sense. So sometimes I do kind of pick people off, and I am able to work with them, but that's not something I'm doing actively right now. But thank you for the opportunity. So follow me, connect with me on Clubhouse. I don't know why that app is so addicting, but it is. That morning room is so good. So
easy, accessible human-to-human communication without having to get dolled up.
Yeah, you know what? And I think that's why, even though this is my first live, like why I'm so comfortable, because I have been in this live type of experience for so long that this just doesn't feel any different, honestly.
Exactly.
Other than I didn't look like this when you invited me.
Right on. No, it's all good. Just want to give a quick shout out to Pam Jordan. Felt like a dinosaur in YouTube and other social media space at my age, but continue to work on producing content that will allow brands to see growth. Thanks for your guidance. No, thank you. You know, I'm actually working on a video that's about doing YouTube after 30. It's going to be for anybody who wants to be on YouTube. And then I'll do a broader one for social media, because I really want people who have life experience and experience professionally to feel like they have a place here, and to understand that it's not just a young person's game. I'm approaching 37. I plan to be doing this for another 8 to 10 years at least, you know, as life allows anyway, and as health allows. And so, yeah, I mean, look at Gary Vee. Gary Vee is 9 years older than me. He's about to hit 46 this year. So like there is a place for people here. Marie Forleo is a woman of a certain age. Like there's a place for people. Grandma Potty Mouth, like, you know.
Do you know Pearl the Possum channel? Please put it in the comments if you have been to Pearl the Possum channel. Have you ever been there?
No, I've not. I might check that out though.
Okay, this is the greatest channel of all time. It's weird, super weird.
Hey, what's up, tipster?
But this is a same concept. Like, YouTube does not have an age requirement or a preference. And she's a perfect example of that. I think YouTube was her retirement plan. Yeah, I think she's winning.
There was a guy who, for a very short period of time, it was a very brief period of time. It was an old YouTube. I'm like ancient on this platform. I remember old YouTube. It was like Geriatric 82 or something like that, or a Geriatric 36. It was something like that. He was the biggest YouTuber on this platform. He was just a World War II veteran that was just telling stories about his life, and he was the biggest YouTuber back in the old days for a good minute, like before Ryan Higa, I think. So it just goes to show you, you know.
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, I love, somebody said in here that they had party rentals. They said they have like 700 subscribers. Yeah, party rental. Yep, there it is. only 700 subs, and they already have brands looking into affiliate links with them. And it's kind of, some people think, oh, you could sign up for affiliate links for anybody that you want to. But if a brand's coming to you and they're starting to build that relationship, it's
a good sign. It's green light.
That door is this much. Just kick it open.
Yep.
Bust it open.
Hey, the lock ain't locked. Hey, the door ain't locked. You know.
That's right.
So yeah, no, you can technically monetize from day zero. I mean, it depends on how you do it. So like something I try to explain to people, and again, we're talking a lot about brand deals on the stream, but I want you guys to remember that don't rely on ads and don't rely on brand deals only and exclusively, because then you really don't own your business at that point. You need a direct to consumer relationship. By the way, I've used my relationship where I sell directly to my audience through my coaching and my services to prove to the brands that my audience, that you all of y'all have buying power. You guys are willing to spend money. Those of you who have it, and you're willing to commit to things, and you'll take, me at my word and at my demonstration and at my actions, and will act on that yourselves. So I've demonstrated the buying power of this community with those of you who work with me directly. I've demonstrated the buying power of this community with the affiliate links to then have leverage in the negotiations for the brand deals, and all of you can do likewise. So selling your own products, selling your own services, doing the affiliate thing, one, that gives you multiple income streams and revenue and lets people choose how they want to financially support you. Okay, it lets people choose. So that's great. They can say yes, give them the option to buy, give them the option to invest in your content so that they can have equity and the audience can have some say instead of just the brands having their say like they normally do. When you rely on AdSense and you rely on brand deals, the advertisers have most of the control of your brand and the audience doesn't, and that doesn't seem quite right, So you need to be doing these things. I know it's extra work, but it's extra security for you and for the audience. It's a leverage, and some level of power actually allows you to have more integrity if you really think about it,
Yeah, and I think that's the piece where people fall off, the integrity piece, because they instantly go into like a sales position, right?
Money is leverage. Dirty. Money is leverage. So the thing is, the more diversified you are, the less pressure anyone can apply to you, because you're in a position to walk away from the money without hurting your family. So you need to be if you're never in a position, even at work, you'll get dragged into things you don't want to do at work because you can't quit the job, right? That's why a lot of you are here. You're here to try to get some leverage and get some extra money that you feel more in control of. But you're not but you shouldn't be trying to leave the job just to give your agency over to the advertisers on these platforms and to brands. And that's nothing against advertisers and brands, especially those of you watching it, and especially my sponsors. But the point is that I just really believe, Angelique, in this whole 4 to 5 different income streams with multiple income sources under that, however you want to look at that. Some people use streams and sources interchangeably. I'll just kind of put it to you like this. I believe that you should be doing e-commerce where you sell something. I believe you should have some kind of service that you also are doing. And for a lot of you, that could just be your performances. If you're a singer or if you're a speaker, that could just be your service, could be performances, or you could freelance. Or some YouTubers still actually run a video agency on top of being a YouTuber, or they offer something and they teach other people, whatever. So I think you should have a product. I think you should have a service. I know it sounds like a lot of work to have a real business, but you probably want to do that. Build that email list, build those websites, okay? I think that you should have the YouTube ad revenue, but I think you should also monetize on other platforms. Earlier, we talked about, I want you guys to go over to facebook.com/RobertoBlake2 and follow me over there, because I want, I'm getting YouTube ad revenue. I should also go ahead and get Facebook ad revenue. Why not? They're offering it. Some of you, if you can get monetized on TikTok, it pays cheap, but you might as well, if you like doing that content, you might as well be paid for that, right? Skillshare. A lot of you, there's things you can teach people, but it doesn't fit your YouTube channel. A lot of you tell me that all the time. You're like, can I put this in my YouTube channel? Can I have a variety channel? Or, hey, I really want to share this other thing. It's like, you guys may not realize that there are other platforms that pay people, not just YouTube. Skillshare is one of them. And Skillshare doesn't go off of ad revenue. They pay you 6 cents for every minute watched, which means that it's not even based off of views. You might get more money per view than you do with YouTube.
Do you remember the video that I did comparing you and 5 other creators.
Yes.
The 2020 income video.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great example of working smarter, not harder, because the average session, I called it a session, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much you got paid per session. I think might have been per view. I think I broke it down per view, per session.
You did both. You did both.
Yeah.
And on one of those, I was like the second highest on one of those, but not on the other.
Right. And the average, like most everybody's average was like 5 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And
but mine was like considerably more than that.
Yeah, I can't remember, but they fluctuate. The point is though that if you're getting paid 6 cents a minute watched, YouTube is not paying that.
No, it's not even close.
It's not paying that. And so if you have something that you can teach and you can put it on Skillshare, you can also put it behind a paywall somewhere else. They just don't want you to be giving it for free somewhere else while
Correct.
They're charging for the membership.
Correct.
So yeah,
as long as it's behind a paywall, you could technically put that same content up behind another membership portal of some kind, and that would be fine. People can pay and consume where they want. This is what I'm talking about with consumer choice.
That's
and
right.
When you have free content, you should distribute the free content in as many platforms as possible. The problem is people are scared of the idea of taking a view away from YouTube because they want to be big on YouTube or they want to grow YouTube. If you want to focus on that to get to YouTube monetization, I'm fine with that. But once you're monetized on YouTube, you shouldn't be trying to exclusively make YouTube as big as possible. You should consider that you can redistribute your content and qualify to be monetized in other places, because you shouldn't be focused on being the biggest YouTuber you can be. You should be focused on being the biggest brand you can be, the biggest business you can be, the biggest influencer or creator that you can be. It should be about growing you and not growing YouTube's platform. It should be about you getting exposure, not YouTube getting exposure. It should be about you getting traffic wherever you can get it. It should be about you getting coins wherever you can get it. Yes,
I couldn't agree more. I'm going to just give the example. Last year on May 8th, Marissa's channel had 90, we're just going to call it 90,000 subscribers at that time last year. And it was hacked and deleted.
Yeah, I remember. Wasn't that for one of the crypto scams?
It says channel does not exist. It was a VA we hired and we had her for a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was gone. This was such a great reminder to us that we don't own any of our profiles. We don't own any of these platforms. So you're growing your YouTube channel, but you're not. You're growing YouTube. That's what you're doing. So if something were to happen, if your channel were to get hacked or deleted or the rules change and all of a sudden like COPPA, however you want to say it.
Yeah, COPPA, yeah.
You know, and they change
destroys the family channels.
That's right.
With what's going on right now, prank channels have always been kind of screwed for a good while since we moved into the age of political correctness about 6 years ago or whatever. Prank channels have been getting hit year after year. It's been getting worse for them. I don't even know if they're going to be allowed on YouTube 5 years from now if it keeps going in the same direction culturally. So, you know, you never know. One thing I'll say is I love this comment from Mitch of Kevin O'Leary not wanting to have 20% in any one asset. So again, if you didn't want to have 20% in any one income stream, which I love this idea, the way that you do it to make it out to 20% is you need 5 of them. And like I said, I believe in going e-commerce, services, affiliate, the royalties, and the brand deals. And then that's your 5. Now there's a point where you could just be doing so well in one of those that one of them becomes more than 20%. But if the numbers are high enough, then you're not relying on any one thing to fully like a couple of things could go wrong and you'd still be able to eat and still be able to handle what you need to handle. And you want to be in that position. And we talked about that in the business of being a full-time YouTuber live stream that I did a couple of weeks ago with Benji. We've talked about it on multiple things. I'm going to be making some other videos about that. In fact, a lot of you, I just want to kind of plug something I have coming up, if you don't mind, before we continue on the media kit side and also before this other super chat, Angelique, because I definitely want to hear what you had to say about the rest of the media kit and about what you wanted to go back to. But I do want to say this. For a lot of y'all here, what you're going to see from me for the next little while through the summer is you're going to see me talking about affiliate marketing again, hardcore. You're going to hear me talk more about e-commerce than I've ever talked about. You're going to hear me talk about royalty income from other platforms. So if y'all are just here for YouTube tips, y'all need to kind of get off of that and understand, even now, you need to go back to my YouTube homepage and you need to be watching these videos on making money in these other platforms and making money with these other revenue streams if you want to actually own the thing that you're building. Because if you don't, you're not going to feel comfortable. You will never feel comfortable. You will have constant anxiety. And again, it's free content. So this isn't really a sales pitch or me pressuring you to buy. I'm telling it like it is, that if you don't want anxiety every single day as a creator, the best thing you can do is get you some leverage and get you some real power. And that means having a website, an email list, and having multiple ways to make as much money as you can now. Get yourself invested properly for your future. Get yourself out of like some of your monthly payments, pay stuff down, get rid of debts, lower your monthly cost of living so that you can breathe easier, because you don't want one thing to change and then you're screwed. And for a lot of people, that's why you're here, because you already know the one thing that can change and you're screwed is, oh, you're fired. Oh, we're laying off. Oh, we're shuttering our doors. Nothing we can do. We got shut down because of COVID or this thing or that thing, or the market changed or the industry changed or the town literally gets wiped off the mat. You need control over your life, and you're trying, I hope, if you're watching this, to get a little bit of control over your life. And I'm telling you, you're not going to have it if you put all of your eggs into a single platform and a single source of income, or even just two of them. You're going to feel constant anxiety that it's going to get ripped out from under you. And I know that firsthand.
Yeah. And to be able to systemize it too. I think that's also important. So building an email list, all of those things are great to be able to expand your platforms, to be able to expand your reach and your influence, which I think is like such a buzzword because it could be used in so many different ways. But if you really think of what the word means, it means action, it means impact, it means a relationship. That's what it means. And if you just have followers because people like you or they think that you're nice looking or whatever, you don't have a relationship with them. So the next person that looks better than you, they're going to go follow them. So regardless if you look great or not, build a relationship and build it. I couldn't agree more. And diversify your relationships too, because having just one focus in one industry doesn't serve you either. So I think that that's equally as important. What I was going to say was about systems and was about making sure that you have leverage. And what does leverage mean if you are on YouTube? Well, for us, when that channel was hacked and deleted, it was our email list. People were hitting Marissa up on her Instagram, and they were saying, "What happened? You know, where'd you go? Like, we're trying to find your channel. It says it doesn't exist." And had she not have had her email list, had she not have had her other social media platforms, there would have been no other way for her to get in touch with her subscribers. Now, was she able to get in touch with all 90,000 of them? No, she wasn't. It's not going to happen. But she could get in touch with the people that she could send an email list to. And I'll tell you, the open rate on those emails, they were great. Those are nice.
Yeah. You know, like, by the way, everybody, like, again, Angelique already knows me and we already have a great vibe from like Clubhouse, and we talk in like DMs and stuff like that. Angelique already knows me. So this is like me not doing a formal interview. So this is normal Roberto, and normal Roberto isn't perfect. Normal Roberto interrupts people, talks over people. Normal Roberto hasn't been shy about telling you about his ADHD. And I've been picked on for like, talking too much or this, that, and everything else for like my whole life. So it's like, one, I mean, I'm just going to say it. I do kind of like, I don't love when I get those kind of comments, because like people do it when I talk over Viper too. So like, I don't love when people infer what they feel about that into things about like me and the way I interact with people, because I only really bring my friends on this channel. I don't bring random people on the channel. So like, I will just let y'all know. Yeah, it does kind of bug me and it does kind of bother me when I get that stuff. You know, I understand and I appreciate people's feelings and feedback, but I'm just talking to my friends like a normal human being. I'm not out here performing for people.
And I would hope that anybody that you brought on here I have no problem interrupting you right back if I have a point to make. So I think you and I, we kind of had those exchanges on Clubhouse all the time. And this is just our communication style. This topic in particular, though, and then of course being live makes it a little bit different. But this topic in particular, though, is about communication and how we communicate. And if you are not getting your point across quickly enough, right? They're interrupting you by closing down your media kit, right? They're interrupting you by not continuing to read your emails, or for the person who is asking about like, how do I get them to read my emails? If they're not opening your emails, or if you have no idea if they're opening your emails, how about that? How about we start there? If you have no idea if someone has opened your email, like there are systems out there, there are free systems out there that you can send someone your media kit and know if they opened it.
What would one of those be?
MailChimp. That's basic, free.
Yep.
You can make.
I use ConvertKit for a lot of my stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm just using MailChimp as an example because it's free and everybody knows it. But I use Kartra for everything.
Yeah, that's right. Kartra is great. Kajabi is really good. We use that for the membership site. Oh, speaking of members, Chroma Film TV, thank you for joining the Awesome Squad.
Awesome.
Yeah, also real quick, there was another super chat here that I just wanted to acknowledge. World According to Briggs, $50 super chat. Good advice. My biggest fear is getting hijacked. Yeah, at some point, we'll do another stream where we'll literally talk about what happened to Marissa's channel. And she's welcome to come on anytime she likes either.
Oh, she'd love to, yeah.
I'd actually love to have you both on to talk specifically about that, because like the channel being hijacked, how you got that back, how you guys had to work with YouTube, the fact that it happened because it was an internal employee. There's just like a lot to unpack there if you guys feel comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, no, she would love to. We now call it the Hackiversary. So when March 8th rolled back around, we were like, oh, happy Hackiversary. And she's made it her mission to educate people on how to protect themselves, which is really cool. But that's part of the relationship now and part of her story. So therefore, it became part of the relationship that she's building with her audience, right? So that just goes to show you that it doesn't necessarily have to even be on topic. That's not what her channel is about, right? But this is absolutely something that her audience receives very well because they were along with her through that journey, and it's important. So, you know.
No, 100%. Real quick, there was another thought you had specifically why you asked me to go back to the media kit when we were talking. Do you remember what that was? Oh,
yeah. I just wanted to go down to be able to see like just if you scroll down a couple more, maybe it'll trigger what I was thinking of. Oh, the examples of your artwork and how you would showcase their brand. So how does the level and detail of the caliber of your brand, how does it match up with how they feel the caliber of their brand, right? So you're really talking about how you represent. And if you're going to have graphics that are in here that are low res, the compositions are not well thought out, they're just not professional looking, then if you have in your kit or in your packages that you're going to put up posts, right? You're going to generate these opportunities for exposure. They're not going to care if this is the kind of stuff that they're getting, and they don't like it. So that's another really important thing to put out there, that they don't care what you say. They really want to see what you can do.
Exactly. And that's like the product photography stuff has actually gotten me more interest from brands by putting that stuff in my Instagram and in my Twitter specifically. And now we're also doing Pinterest for me and tagging the brands and saying what brand it is. And obviously I throw my affiliate links in there too. And it works out really well. And they've complimented it so much. And actually they've been adding to my YouTube sponsorship stuff, Instagram stuff. And a lot of them have even come to me just for Instagram exclusives. And sometimes they pay as well or better than YouTube just for the Instagram side. This is another reason to build up your other platforms, ladies and gents. Like building up your other platforms is really kind of a big deal. And it can give you that leverage of being able to have the value add, but there has to be quality content there that's representative as well. And it also lets you diversify even the types of content you're doing. You may not always be able to be a variety channel on YouTube and talk about everything you're passionate about, but if you actually use other platforms for other aspects of your personality, but you keep something consistent. Or if you think about the lifestyle and figure out the brand of your lifestyle and you segment that into certain platforms, then you can spread out the awareness and opportunities. You may not always be able to bundle things, but it does mean that you can maybe get different brands for different things. I feel like there are brands that I'm going to get because of my Instagram that I won't necessarily get because of my YouTube, at least my main channel anyway. There's other things where starting another channel might give you more opportunities. I think that because actually I'm going to start, believe it or not, a lot of you don't realize I'm actually going to do some somewhat entertaining, but more entertaining, infotaining type content on the More Roberto Blake channel. I know I haven't posted in a good minute there. The last thing we did was the Mr. Beast burger taste test, eating everything on the menu. It's like, which is really cool. Like that you guys supported that so much. There's like 800 of you guys over on that channel, and 2,000 plus people watched it. It was a really good video with 99% likes, all of that good stuff. There's going to be fun reaction videos on that other More Roberto Blake channel. You know what? If that channel should grow, even if it only grows to 10,000, Angelique, there's still opportunities for me beyond ad revenue on that more fun channel that I'm doing for fun with my Discord server. Because by the way, guys, discord.gg/awesome squad. You guys can join the Discord server, be part of the community. You guys can recommend videos for me to react to. And you also can share your own artwork. We're also talking about some YouTube stuff. I'm giving answers for tech help in there. A lot of you have asked about audio equipment and lighting equipment, so I'm answering questions over there. So you can go to discord.gg/awesome squad, which I'll drop now, or you can go to robertoblake.com/discord if that's easier for you to remember. Yeah,
that's a good one. And how about that? Just having a simple domain, your brand in a domain, to be able to send people to links instead of the affiliate links, be able to send them to something that's a little bit more branded, that's easier, and it helps to strengthen your brand too.
Yeah, so, by the way, that's another good reason for you guys to have a website. If you guys have a website, then you can make redirect links. Like for me, for our friends over at StreamYard, robertoblake.com/go/StreamYard goes directly to StreamYard. You guys can sign up for free. So plugging our sponsor. But that's my point. I have these easy systems. You talked about systems earlier. Mm-hmm. These easy systems let me make it convenient for you guys because you can just remember, robertoblake.com/go and then / whatever Roberto's promoting.
It's easy for you to remember too, share.
Exactly. So that makes it easy for me, makes it easy for you. It puts me in control. Plus, on my back end in WordPress, I can track the traffic to those redirects. So it also lets me see, if the brand does, because the brand may or may not always give me those numbers depending on how they do their dashboards. I have some numbers of my own to be able to see, to come back to them and say, hey, wait a minute. So again, it gives me a level of transparency to know my own traffic if the brand won't give me those datas or if I want to dispute them.
Yes, and let's talk about that for just a second because Dave from Standard, he's the co-founder of Standard, the influencer platform.
Yeah.
Right? He links influencers and brands together. Mm-hmm. And one thing he was saying was that it is not as common for influencers to be able to get the data from the traffic that they're sending, which I think is complete garbage. And I don't like that at all.
That's the industry. We got to change that. Yeah.
But you can, in my mind, they're talking about how brands need to change this and how this shouldn't be the same. And all I'm thinking is, why are they not just redirecting the links so that they know how many clicks are coming off, so that they know how many people are at least coming from each particular platform that they're promoting this service or this brand on? This is so easy, guys, just to do this. You can do this even with a free service like URL Genius, right?
Yeah, Genius. Yeah, Genius Link. You're thinking Genius Link. Genius Link is fantastic, and it gives really easy, great analytics and everything. Like Genius Link, if you're watching, let's do a brand deal, sponsor some content. In fact,
yeah, we're
Genius
down.
Link.
But here's a perfect
Genius
example.
Link, sponsor a video for me about brand sponsorships. I'll tweet at you. You're welcome.
There it is. You heard it here. Just to be able to have those kinds of analytics, those metrics, that kind of data in your media kit, now that is gold, because they want to know the kind of traffic that you're going to drive. Right now, it's YouTube is driving traffic to you. They don't know how people will convert off of a video of yours. They don't know that. And when you're first starting out, it's really hard to be able to show that kind of stuff to them. So it's even more imperative that you have more control over what that looks like, because then you can make changes to be able to improve things. You can see people have clicked on this link. I put this link up at the top of my description. I added it again at the bottom of my description. It was a different link, so I know which one people are clicking on. That alone is like a measurement tool that you can use just to be able to improve your process or vet your process.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's all kinds of things like that. Just want to say a quick shout out to our good friend Justin Brown from Primal Video. Once again, congrats on 1 million, right up there with Sean Kennel. Nick Nimmin will be joining you soon. Maybe one day I'll get there. We'll see. Yeah, congrats on 1 million, man. Proud of you.
Yeah.
Also, to anybody who keeps
the medium
saying,
clap, not the slow clap.
Also, to anyone who thinks tutorial channels are dead, well, Primal Video just hit 1 million, so maybe not so much.
That's what's up. Well, that he's hashtag goals, right?
Yes, indeed. Yep, indeed. But yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of things I feel in terms of industry standards that either one aren't known or two are known and need to change. And like we said earlier, the thing that I like is that, and again, I am going to be changing the order because I've also changed the design, and I have so many other ways now that I'm showing screenshots of data because I found a good like way to visually present it because I'm a design snob now. So like my new media kit will blow this one out of the water. But the thing that I like is I feel that the thing that we talked about earlier where you gave us the rundown of what the brand side looks for, I feel like I actually addressed most of it in my media kit. Even if we think that my media kit is overkill, it left nothing kind of to chance in terms of most of what they'd want to know.
Right. Rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And mine is the extreme version. Like primary example, I told you that my agency, we design media kits. Like my version is kind of the extreme end because we have like a $1,200 design package that does like a 10-page media kit plus a cover. Mine's the extreme end. We have a $600 package that actually is a 4-page plus a cover because technically, if you really go down to the nuts and bolts that you talked about of like, hey, the thing they need to know most is like these like 5 or 6 things, we can get that well designed into 4 pages. So that's why that's, half the price. But also an influencer like might pair with whatever they need just based on, again, the investment of maybe someone who feels like the top of what they're going to get is like a like $1,000 brand deal might go with a $600 design package for their media kit versus somebody who feels they're going to get a $5,000, $10,000 brand deal tops will go with a $1,200 media kit. It's just that kind of thing. There's like a correlation with investment. Same way that an influencer might build a smaller website depending on what they think they want to do with it versus a larger website. Because even paying for web design or doing it yourself with Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, anything you want to, you see what I'm saying? There's like,
well, the reason why I'm laughing, one, because people are going ham in the chat and they're calling folks out, and I'm laughing at some of these comments because they're pretty great. So everyone commenting, thank you. I'm reading them even if we can't respond right away. The other thing is about Wix, to be honest, let's say you signed a $5,000 deal with Wix. Let's just say that's how much it was, which I don't know if Wix is even used to paying that much. I don't know. Okay. But let's just say it was $5,000. And then you find out and you're thinking like, oh yeah, I could do Wix. Like you have all these ideas and you're like, okay, free website builder, right? It's super easy to do. Like it's very simple. Like anybody could do this. And it's cheap. It's fat. You're trying to think of all these words and this value and these angles to be able to pitch it, do some content about it. Then they tell you, you can't use free, easy, or cheap.
Oh, by the way, guys, just a quick disclaimer. I think I might jump the gun on 1 million because they're almost right there.
They were calling him out.
Oh no, like it's not his fault, guys. That's my fault. That's my fault because, by the way, I think it was another one of my friends that just hit 1 million, and I was just superimposing that because Justin Brown is so close at 900. Like, guys, round up, okay? Just round up. It's like at 917. It's like a million's right around the corner, and that was just my fault. That's not Justin's
I'm not
fault.
taking my claps back. You can still have those.
He's not, he didn't misrepresent anything. That was my fault because I have too many successful friends. I have too many successful friends, and I can't keep track of everybody who's surpassed me yet. So no shade. I can't keep track of how many of my friends are getting these gold play buttons anymore. So that's my bad.
Just big tuber problems. I'm telling you.
Big tuber problems, right? So again, that's like, Justin's fine. You guys don't razz him. That's my fault. You can blame me for that.
No, they went to check. They went to
check. Okay, it's like, well, subscribe and get him to 1 million. But I'm just Justin, you're fine. You'll be there. We'll celebrate it this year, hopefully, because COVID's hopefully resolved, and you can come back to the States because you guys are out there down under in Australia. Would love to see you again. I only get to see you guys twice a year anyway, so I hope that since I haven't seen you in over a year, we get to see each other again soon. I hope we all get to see our friends and family again soon, those of us who can't travel. But Justin and Mike from Primal Video are great. You guys should absolutely watch their channel. And again, I'm not here just hyping them up for no reason, and they will hit 1 million. And when they do, like, I'm going to be right there celebrating with them. And I'm very happy for my friends when they succeed. Like I said, I think that I'm mentally just superimposing the fact that someone else I know just hit 1 million, and I might have just like mixed that up in my head.
I mean,
that's what I get.
You're manifesting it for him. You just see him having 1 million. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want us to speak that you're going to have 1 million and congratulate you on your next milestone early so you can start celebrating today, that's the kind of energy that we're putting out today.
I'll just like literally just go to the wine cellar, and I'll just which is what I just call my pantry, and I'll just pull out one of these Gary V wine bottles and everything like that, put Primal Video on it, and like when they hit 1 million, I'll just open that.
Yeah.
So
we can start celebrating today. If you don't have an email list, you're starting it today. We're going to celebrate your first 100 today. We're going to celebrate it so you can feel that feeling of like, yes, I have it. I fully believe in that. Yeah. Call it what you want. I do.
Yeah. You know, one day, Savvy Turtle has this thing. One day I'm going to find somebody that can make a bronze play button that I like, and I'm going to host my own award show. And not just the bronze play button, but like in one day, my plan one day actually is to just host my own creator award show and get the brands that I like to sponsor it, and get me like a small venue. I'll have my team film it. And when I say an award show, I mean, I will literally just like rent like a hotel, like ballroom sponsored by the brands, and literally do my own thing. Maybe get some of my creator friends to come out and host with me.
Yeah,
and we will literally just film our own award show. And we will literally commission some crafter to make physical awards, or we'll find a award shop that can do things to my specifications, and we will literally hand out our own creator awards and ship them to people. And I'm not joking, guys. This has been a dream of mine for over 3 years.
Love it.
I just haven't we might have done it or be on the way to doing it if it wasn't for COVID. COVID delayed a lot of my plans by another 2 to 3 years, believe it or not. We'll talk about that another time. But I literally want to hand out some bronze play buttons and some of my own Twitch awards, because like I feel like Twitch should have trophies just like YouTube, and I've always felt that way. There's a lot of Twitch streamers I want to give my own awards to. There's some TikTokers I want to give physical awards to. I feel like every one of these platforms should follow in YouTube's footsteps and not only monetize creators, but actually acknowledge their success with rewards. I understand why they don't do bronze play buttons. It'd be too expensive, but yeah, I want to do a couple for people that I respect and people in my community, and I want to do that. So I think that'd be dope.
That's amazing.
Sponsored by brands. So that's my pitch. Brands. That's my pitch. It'll be sponsored. They'll pay for everything.
If you want to get in the list to be a sponsor, you can start now. Do you have you could drop a URL where they can opt in to get in line?
Not yet, but it's like, not yet, but that's actually not a bad point. You know, having your website and your contact stuff set up to where when brands reach out to you, having an email for business that's not tied to anything else you need it to be in your
Or
descriptions
your YouTube channel, because that's how you can get hacked.
Because that's how you get hacked, right? Like having that unique business email,
right?
That brands and anyone with business opportunities and stuff like that can reach out to, and it not being the one that's for your YouTube account. In your bio, in your description, in your about, in your other socials, all of that is really good, because again, you want brands that might reach out to you. You may not even know who to reach out to. You want to make it easy. You want to make yourself accessible to brands, and you want to make yourself accessible to opportunity in general. And so that's one of the reasons to do that. Also, it's also more practical when you have your own website and you have your own domain name. One, you can have a contact form that people can fill out. You can have a website page that tells brands, not unlike your media kit, but maybe just, again, something that's search friendly, because you can have your media kit, but you could also have something search friendly to present. You can have videos linked to previous work that you've done, and so they can see what a sponsored video looks like. You can even have an unlisted playlist that's just an unlisted playlist of all of your sponsored content, so that you can send that to brands for examples. Or if you want to send brand specific examples, you can make a customized unlisted playlist and send that to them as well in your emails. So again, this is stuff for talking to brands.
I was going to say this earlier. Somebody said, how do you make sure that they, you're not bugging them? And I think if you're only sending the same type of email over and over again, I would send a video. You can do something as simple as using like Loom. Have you ever used Loom?
I've heard of that, and actually we're looking at using that for internal. So remember how I told you about Metal's Mission Essential task list?
Yes.
Okay, we're looking at Loom to be the video side of where do we put all the videos for how to do a process? Like how do we do the videos for how to remove people from Facebook, or how to update the CRM, or do this or do that? Like we're looking at Loom for our internal training video stuff.
Okay, yeah, I love Loom. There's a few things out there, and Vimeo actually now has their own screen share, very similar to Loom, but there are some differences and some limitations. Loom works really good on Mac. Just gonna throw that out there, Apple Nation, but it doesn't work so good for PC for some reason. My husband just refuses to use a Mac, and it doesn't really work that great for him, so he has some limitations. However,
with Loom on PC,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They need to get that together, but I mean, just seeing how many things are iPhone only right now, it's kind of interesting, because I would think that there are so many more Android products across the board.
There are, but people aren't aware of them. And because the thing is, it's easier to get distribution awareness on Apple because you only have to talk about one thing. Android is so fragmented that it's hard to market against. That's the issue. It's hard to market against. And to a lesser extent, in some ways, Windows has a lot of these like solutions comparable to things that are Mac only. But I think that because people who are Mac only are tied to the Mac ecosystem and all of that, they pay closer attention to whatever exists in the market.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I think it's an attention issue. Yeah.
So, what I was saying though is that in your email, part of your email sequence, right? If they don't respond to you, or if you do have to follow up, I'm in everybody's funnel. Like if I think you have a good funnel, I'm jumping in because I want to see your funnel, like a funnel nerd in that way. But I get to see what that sequence looks like. And then sometimes I'll sign up from 2 separate emails and do this for the brand that you want to sponsor you, so that you know the language, the tone, the messaging, you know, how they're building relationships with people, like just even the sentiment that they share or that they're using to be able to be relatable. Maybe you have a different spin on it, you get different results. Point is, maybe you just throw in your Loom link. Maybe you throw in a video. There's, you know, a link is something that now they have to take action with you. And if they don't see value, they're probably not going to take action with you. Even if you said like, this is the best video of all time in this link, if they don't see value in it, they're not going to click on it. So put a little thumbnail in the email and just make that image a link that links to your Loom, something really quick. Could be, you know, hey, just following up with you. Doesn't have to be super produced. It's just, hey, I'm looking forward to building a relationship with you. Just wanted to pop in. They can hear your voice. They can hear you and see you. That's the whole part of YouTube, right? Is you get to build a relationship with an audience, people that you've never met before. And essentially, that's what you're wanting to do with a brand. So why wouldn't you use the power of video to be able to do that, market yourself?
Indeed. The thing is, you are essentially a video content creator. Lead potentially with your strongest punch, like in theory. I mean, I haven't dropped this because I am planning a video around it. But like I said, I feel that you could even make a video that the same way we make a YouTube channel trailer, you could make a brand trailer, what we usually call in the business a sizzle reel. You can make a sizzle reel that shows off the value of your brand, and you could have your product B-roll shots in there. You can have your top-down flat lays in there. You can, but again, you could voice over. You could show the visual aesthetic of everything you have to offer, show your ability to cut, edit, and narrate. And then you could tell them the things that you think that they should know and why they should work with you. And the thing is, it allows you literally an opportunity to show and tell in the way that a media kit does. Good thing about a media kit is that, like, it is as a PDF document, it's easy and fast to circulate and push around and everything like that. And the thing is, they can multitask while they're interpreting that, but they are forced to watch a video, which is good for you, but also, again, is whoever chooses to take the time to watch that. And again, this could sit as an unlisted video on your channel that you only circulate to brands, this sizzle reel. But again, I am going to explain that concept in a later video about brand deals, while I also am working on one myself. It may be something that I shoot a little bit of it with the Sony A1 when I borrow it, because I can shoot an 8K with that, and I might just want to do that. So,
oh, we got ClickFunnels Clan up in here. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's great. Stay organized with this. So whatever it is that you're going to use, just create your own ecosystem of how things flow together. We use Asana. What do you guys use? Do you use any kind of like organization system?
We use a combination of Slack and Monday.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But we use, and then for like them being able to see what's going on in my brain, I use Trello boards a lot. But that's like a reference for them of like, here is me mind mapping stuff that I want. Or sometimes I'll use, I think it's, God, what is it? Mind something. I just recently started using this. It's actually mind mapping. It's an Apple thing. What is it? Was it? I think it, or is it Node? Mind Node. Yeah, it's Mind Node. It's Mind Node. It's an app you can get in the Apple ecosystem for your Mac or PC. Mind Node. It's actually mind mapping tools, and so I literally, my friend Romina put me onto it, so I can literally kind of like mind map, and I can visually create these threads, and it's actually been helping me to organize my thoughts for things like teaching things and courses, because I can literally now just kind of this thread to this thread and splinter it off in like an actual thing of like the hierarchy of like what things are. And I like that visual representation for me. So it's Mind Node, and it's on Apple, and it's amazing. So I like
love that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm old school. I'm just very like analog a lot of the time, like writing it down on paper.
Well, I have a whiteboard desk.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
I have to write it down on paper.
And a mobile whiteboard. Yeah.
So I've been begging for us to put up like this huge blank wall that we have. And instead of doing some sort of design thing, I was trying to come up with a way of like designing it to be a fancy whiteboard. And I'm not done.
They have whiteboard paint. They have
I saw that.
Yeah,
what if it doesn't work? You have to keep repainting it though. Have you used it?
Look at the reviews. But I've been to someone who has it, and it worked out fine for them.
Oh, somebody said Airtable. Yep, I've heard that's good too.
I've heard of that. I'm gonna look into it. Why not send video emails with a dub service? Well, again, I talked about using unlisted videos because I think that has a less likelihood of hitting spam, but using some other video email service, again, the likelihood of it hitting spam or the wrong part of their inbox, I don't like. So I just keep it as minimal as possible, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I am a fan of using email as part of your, or video as part of your strategy and your options. It could also be that you have this, this opening, hey, welcome, hello, this is who I am. This is what I'm interested in. And here's the kit and here's a video about it. Like,
and remember,
the option.
If you have your own website, you also literally can put together a page for the brands. And you could literally put a video embedded from YouTube or Vimeo or whatever you want. Just put it in there. And then you have a video pitch that is right there, or a sizzle reel or whatever you want. So
yeah. And if you have a landing page and you've got buttons that they can click on to be able to like expand, your reach about your audience or your demographic, your psychographic, whatever it is, I think the ability for you to see what people are clicking on. So if you're sending people to that page and you know what people are clicking on, you don't know which pages that they're spending the most time on if you're only sending them the PDF packet, right? But you do if you have like heat map feature on your website or landing page, or you can just be able to see analytics on clicks for buttons. Like, that's golden. And that'll help you understand what people are and are not interested in and what's capturing their attention too. Hope that helps.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Don't use regular magic marker. It doesn't come off. I worked at a company that's happened. Yeah, we'll see. And there's too many things that could go down in this house.
With whiteboards, you don't use regular magic markers with whiteboards in general anyway, but I digress. But I do love using these whiteboard markers. The one thing you have to be careful of with the whiteboard desk is you have to not get the super strong markers, because then the smell, you don't want to sit there and then be like, So,
but back to your point though, you don't have to write things down. You don't have to stay organized. If you know that like robertoblake.com/go/StreamYard, right? That's what it was.
Yep.
How easy is that for me to even remember, right? But I would never remember StreamYard.com/ Y9RH6427, whatever.
Exactly.
Like, you're not ever going to remember that. And half the time, those are what your affiliate links are. They're just some random, code. It's not anything that you can remember. But if you can remember, hey, myname.com/ the brand name, boom, there it is. And it directs automatically for you. Like, that's a no-brainer.
Exactly. What's the other thing is, for those of you who don't have the website, or you're not doing that side of it, or the redirects or what have you, you can always use something like Genius or Bitly.
Yeah.
You could always use Genius or Bitly, and you'll be good to go even with that.
Hey, let's talk about that for a second. URL Genius. I was on there today, and the reason why is because I keep telling myself to do it from my Instagram, that nobody can subscribe to your channel if you're sharing your links out when you first publish, or anytime. It opens up in that player, right? So people can't they can't interact or engage with your
I think a lot of people's workaround has been Linktree.
Well, yeah, but if you're posting on Facebook, you're not posting your Linktree. You're wanting to post the link to the video.
Yes.
If you make it a deep link, it will take them out of that player, and it will pull it up in a place where they can interact with it.
I see. No, that makes sense. So yeah, you want to have the appropriate link that actually pushes them to open the appropriate app.
So how about this? If you see a sponsor and they don't know to do that, and you reach out to let them know how to do that, that's value.
Yes, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Gears and Tools ask, what percentage of brand deals do you accept from brands / decline? I see a lot of brands that want to partner up, but the product quality isn't up to what? Oh God, I probably decline 80% of them. I'll probably make a video about that. Like I turn down 80% or more of the brand deals. I probably every year turn down what's probably more than 100,000, 150,000 or more in potential brand deals, in partnerships. Like I do it all the time, even sometimes from recognized brands. It's not a good fit, or I'm like, well, why are you reaching out to me for this thing and not this thing? It's like, this fits my audience better. Like, what are you like? And they're like, well, no, we're promoting this right now. So it's kind of a yes or no kind of thing. I go, nope. Sometimes it's been a timing thing. And it's like, okay, well, nope. Sometimes it's been a pricing thing. And I go like, nope. And again, for a lot of lower tier brands, there's a lot of brands or whatever that, again, they'll throw money. There's brands that'll throw a lot of money to get in front of people. But if you don't have that relationship or you don't know them, like, I don't like, to be very real with you, it's very difficult for me to work with people I don't know.
Okay, what's the highest offer you've got? Don't you guys want to know? What's the highest offer from a sponsor?
50,000. It was about 50,000.
That's nice.
And I turned it down.
How long ago was that? Like, what was the size of your channel at that time?
It was fairly recently. There was like a $50,000 thing that I turned down. It was fairly recent. It was like in the last couple of, like, it's in the last year or so.
That's great. And was there like additional revenue that potential from that?
Probably. It just wasn't a good fit. It was just like,
So what if you,
there was another thing. There was a smaller thing that I turned down that was like an easy $5,000, but I was just like, I like you guys personally, but I was looking at their thing and I'm like, y'all have had some issues and some headlines. And basically I just decided that they weren't getting, like, they were getting enough. They are a good company. They're a solid company. They were giving enough negative press that I decided I didn't want to deal with the headaches of their negative press in my comment section of why I'm promoting them. Because again, they make a solid product and they have a solid service. But just because, like, I didn't, like, in the same way that brands will decide, well, I don't want, despite all the value that a YouTuber's created with me, they're getting bad press, so I'm out. I did the same thing to a brand. I'm telling you, it cuts both ways.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Well, I guess my point though is that I think most people would listen to that and they would go like, wow, $50,000 for a video, right?
What's your reputation worth?
Well, let's say it was a good fit though.
Well, then if it's a good fit just because of alignment, it may not be good timing. It may be too much stress. It may be that, like, it's not worth my mental health. It may be that they're asking for a lot of stuff and the pressure to deliver on that is, do I want to risk not doing this well? And do I want to play for these stakes this month, this week, this whatever, this season? And because the thing is, a lot of people forget well, you want to put yourself in the position where the easiest thing to do is say no.
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, you hold the ball is in your court when they're offering you something like that, right? But what I'm saying though is, like, what if the conditions were perfect? And you really were like, you know what, this is a great fit. I'm excited to do this. $50,000.
Oh, then yeah, that's fine. Yeah, then that'd be fine.
For most of these people, they're going, yeah, right. Like, when would that ever happen for me? And we're talking about like how to get to that point. You don't get to that point if you're not celebrating your 1 million subscribers before you get them. You don't get to that point if you're not producing quality of sponsored videos and you're not going after this, like, they're worth $50,000, right?
You don't get to say yes or no to those things if you're not putting yourself in the position to command that level of either authority, respect, or trust, or value, or traffic, or whatever. But you also, again, should be skeptical of anything that feels too good to be true, or again, anything that feels like too much of a stretch. Because again, brand deals aren't sunshine and rainbows. You could spend 3 weeks just working out the details and negotiating, and God knows how long in revisions and approvals and all of that. I can say no to things, Angelique, because there's a point where sometimes you don't want to feel like an employee again.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say that was something else you said earlier. Exactly. Entrepreneurship does not mean financial freedom or freedom of your time, or that you just didn't create a job for yourself where you have now infinite amount of bosses, right?
Yeah. Like there's a lot of systems and things in my place to where I have a healthy amount of like residual, recurring, truly passive income. I mean, it's no secret to these people. And it's one of the reasons that, like, I'm one of the only few people out there that can talk about legit passive income, because royalties and recurring affiliate revenue are real passive income, and automated systems where it's a digital product in e-commerce are real passive income. And we all know I have those, and we've seen my numbers. So we all know that I do make more than $10,000 of real recurring passive income, which is enough to live off of. Now, what it may or may not do is then, depending on the systems you need in place in terms of your team or payroll or this or that, it may not cover all the business stuff passively, but there may be other things you're doing there. So that's the thing you want to think about. But when I talk about making that stuff passive, that passive income is my leverage. My leverage is the ability to say no and say, I'm comfortable with the amount of money I have. So your amount of money doesn't represent a temptation for me in some way. So just because someone offers me $50 or $1,000 for like what ends up being a month of my time or something like that, or even if it was like, 2 weeks of my time, it's not always going to be. And by the way, that's a very, very rare situation, a very rare offer. Most of my stuff is not that. It's closer into the tops out at like 20 or 15 or 10 or this or that, or if it's just a single. And we're talking campaigns when we talk about that, by the way. We're not talking about $50,000 for a single video. We're talking about $50,000 for like an extended relationship. So don't get it twisted, you guys. Like it's the big people, it's the Marquezes of the world that get bigger numbers than that for a single video. It's not little old Roberto. Like that's a like commitment, and that's the other problem. What commitment are you willing to make? What relationship are you willing to be in? And what is like that breakup even look like with the brand? What does breaking up with a brand look like? You got to think about these things, and you got to think about these things. You got to think about which brands are you going to be in a committed relationship with? Which brands are you going to be casual with? And which brands are you going to like GTFO? Like, like which ones are you going to stiff arm? Like,
yeah. Or like, are you going to change your channel topic because you got bored and now you're pivoting because you really weren't committed to your niche? So
there's that. Yeah.
That's
so now the alignment. So now the alignment's changed. So like you got to really think about these things, because you're like, again, you're in a reputation-based business, but again, you also want to make sure that, like I've always kept saying, you want to diversify so that you have the ability to walk away, because somebody who's making most of their money from ads can't turn down an opportunity to get some extra money. And somebody who's making most of their money between ads and sponsors can't even take a break or a vacation because they don't have enough passive income to say, I don't have to like hunt for my food.
Right.
Like if you take brand deals and you take ad revenue, you constantly have to churn out content, and it has to be content that constantly performs and gets the numbers and does bigger and better, like because you're hunting for your meals all the time. I farm, and it isn't as sexy, and it's slow, and I have to sometimes shake my fist at the sky when it doesn't rain. But the thing is, I have enough crops that I'm rotating through to where I know how I'm going to eat. And I still do hunt. So I farm and hunt. But a lot of YouTubers, especially the entertainment YouTubers, all they do is hunt for their meals. And it's a problem when it's, when it's a problem, it's a problem, because if you're constantly hunting for your meals, when do you get to take a break?
Yeah, that's so true. Well, then you'll burn out faster too.
That's why it happens. Burnout is usually, to be very real with a lot of you, a lot of people refuse to talk about the financial pressure that leads to their YouTube burnouts. They talk about not taking breaks. They talk about feeling stressed. They talk about not hitting the numbers. They talk about feeling insecure about what they've got going on. But that's because of how much of what they live off of is dependent on all of those things. Think about it. And then for those of you who are not full-time YouTubers, it's the same for a lot of you, because you're seeing a delay on this potential to finally get out of whatever situation you're in. Whenever you don't hit numbers, you don't get this. As a small YouTuber, you burn out and get frustrated because you're trying so hard to get extra and to get out and to do that. And then when it's not happening, your efforts aren't lining up with the expectation. The exertion is not matching the results. And then you're getting frustrated, discouraged, and you're physically exhausted. Like, so whether you're a larger content creator or a smaller content creator, people don't acknowledge how much a burnout comes down to not having financial leverage to begin with. Because if you actually know, you could stop, but for like a month or something or two, and you wouldn't reach an uncomfortable financial place. You just would have less extras, but you wouldn't be uncomfortable. Your lifestyle wouldn't change if you stopped working for a month. That's when you have power. That's when you have control. That's when you have leverage. Take what I did. I, until just last week, hadn't actually uploaded a YouTube video in over 30 days. I just live streamed once a week or every other week for like a month. I barely uploaded. I barely did anything for my channel. And I knew for a fact it wouldn't affect my lifestyle.
Yeah. And you can do that. And, you know, I'm a firm believer in quality over quantity. Like if, you know, live streaming, there's a purpose for this, getting on here and people can be a part of this conversation, and they are, and I'm enjoying it. You know, this is a different element. But if you were to put together a video and you were to slap it together like it was alive, it would be different. Yeah. Yeah.
So like
for most people, they just try to, I got to get something up. And that's true. They probably do, because you got to get up your first, you know, X amount. 40. I like to say 40 is the number for me. Like, let's not even talk about your channel until you've got up your first 20, and then we'll start talking about it. But after that, you really haven't gotten in the routine or the habit until you've gotten in somewhere in those numbers and what your expectations are. So having quality is going to help a lot in just talking through and thinking through what that means. Don't procrastinate. I
feel like the quality and quantity thing shifts though, because first of all, like there's a threshold of like acceptable quality, because there's a point where you could make the expectations of your audience unsustainable. Well, a lot of
explain what you're thinking.
If you keep raising the bar past a certain point, past when people are already saying yes, if you decide to be too much extra past yes, to where you've made it literally too hard to just even make like a video, and you've also set yourself the expectations of stunt after stunt or this thing or adding this thing or whatever, you could make the turnaround on a video or the potential for things to go wrong in a video so unsustainable that you end up being inconsistent and ghosting your audience. And a lot of people try to chase doing that too early in their career because they're not Mr. Beast yet, but they think they can blow up fast by overproducing content. But the thing is, they haven't even gotten to a point to where it's like you've reached a place where it's like when people will accept something from you, for most YouTubers should not mimic or try to mimic Mr. Beast or any of the people over 10 million.
Or anybody.
Or really anybody, but like to a point, because you do model success. But I think you get what I'm saying is like people go too big, too hard, too fast with never acclimating to that. It'd be like just trying to realize like that thinking you can power your way through certain sports or certain things, and then realizing, you did never train your body to handle thin air. Just because you were able to get up there doesn't mean you can hang up there. You just did something wildly impractical because you never conditioned for it and you just tried to bulldoze your way through. It's like, again, that's why I treat this like a sport or like learning a musical instrument or like a career. You can't literally just power your way through something as fast as possible because you're impatient. Or even again, if you throw out a quality video, but you literally ghost your audience, you'll be a one-hit wonder.
Okay. I'm a perfectionist. So I think I fall into the same bucket as a lot of people. Like if I know how to do something right, I want to do it right.
But the thing is, you're deciding what's right before the audience decides what's right. Okay.
So for some people, they really struggle. And I love this conversation right here because I think it leads hand in hand with what sponsors are looking at when you have what data you have to give to them. And it's attention. If you are struggling to get people to watch your videos, is doing the same mistakes over and over again, even if it's getting at 30 videos, you're still making the same mistakes you were at the first video, you're not going to get any better. You're just going to get that much more discouraged. What are your thoughts on that?
For one thing, you can't, sometimes you have to take enough swings to verify a mistake or to even identify what you're doing wrong or why you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. And you can't assume that the numbers just mean that you're doing it wrong, because the thing is, people think that about their video content. Most people, the problem isn't even their video content, to be real with you, being quality. It's their branding.
Isn't that all a part of it though? For me, it's
you and I think of it that way because we're marketers. The average content creator thinks making a quality video matters, and they've been told over and over again making a quality video matters. You and I know that attention matters, and attention isn't about a quality video. Attention is about the topic of the day, the title that grabbed their attention or inflamed or enraged or excited them, and a thumbnail that sells it. You and I both know that the packaging of a video that's not even by our standards quality, doesn't even have to have good audio by our standards. I'll give you an example, and this is not a shade to anybody. You and I both know that any commentary channel talking about any of the YouTuber scandals right now could make a video that by our standards is piss poor in production, editing, and doesn't even have to communicate well or articulate well. They could sit there and ramble at the camera and get 100,000 views as long as they're talking about the tea of the day and who's going down in flames. They will inevitably get attention. So when we talk about, again, when we talk about quality over quantity, like sometimes that's a straight up lie.
Yeah.
Because the data ain't telling that story. The data,
I know
the data
it.
ain't telling that story. But you know what? And again, that's no shade to tea or commentary channels, because a lot of them, what they do very well is they are great headline writers, which is why the clickbait media has basically reduced itself to being the same as the drama community at this point. The journalists aren't doing it much better, like than them for a reason. The journalists are saying they're studying YouTube channels to learn how to get views and attention because they've been failing at it for so long. So, you know what I'm saying? So they coming into our house now. So the point I'm making is that there are people who are masters of getting attention that are not necessarily filmmakers, not necessarily great orators, not necessarily great performers, but they're smart enough to realize that they can commentate on people who make better videos than them because that'll get attention because supply and demand.
Right.
So again, that's truth for you. So the thing is, while we're sitting here worrying about a perfectly crafted video shot in 4K, edited to perfection with all of the trimmings, we're making a video that 99% of normal people have no interest in. But that's fine for our target market because we're ultimately building businesses and building brand and building an affluent audience, not the average consumer. So the thing is also just even understanding that the psychology of the average consumer is different than the market that we're catering to, where it's like, we're partly only interested in the attention of a very narrow, small amount of people, usually people that are over 25. The majority of YouTube ain't that audience. So for those of you who are in the entertainment world, there's, to be real with you, some of you, there's a threshold of acceptable quality for your audience where they're not asking for a lot. And a lot of you will put yourself in a position to where it would be simpler for you to just give your audience what they're actually asking for than trying to look like the YouTubers that you're worshiping, which is where a lot of you are going wrong, is that you don't even know what the standard you need to be at for people to say that this is what I want, because I'd rather have this and have somebody that's consistent or somebody with this personality or this on the regular. Because that once in a while over the top thing is nice once in a while. Because some people, they've got that already and they've already checked that box. But consistency, there ain't a lot of people checking the consistency box.
Yeah, but it can. And as long as your audience, you're their jam and what it is that you do and how you do what you do vibes with them, like it makes sense. And if that's part of your target audience, that you know that they will respond to this particular thing, they got to have it polished up. If you know that about your target audience, then you got to polish up. You know that already. If you don't know that though, discovering that is important. I want to say this though.
For who we talk to, polish matters a lot. But for a lot of people, personality would beat polish.
Yep. It's all part of it though. Yeah. For me, it's part of it. It doesn't even have to.
For us, it is. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. But I'm speaking to, again, whoever is out there, because their audience may not be the same as, like, say, you or me per se. Because again, I'm saying, like, if you're like, I've seen so many people. I'll give you a primary example. Mr. Beast, because his audience was a young demo, the demo that now watches everything on TikTok, he was able to get 200,000 subscribers on his phone. But then also, there's another person who's older, Scott Manley, who does science videos and does all the rocket launch stuff and talks about space and all these things. He shoots and edits on his iPhone. Yeah. And he's at about 1 million subscribers. But that's because, again, that community is there for what the information and stuff that he provides is, as somebody who has a background in engineering, but makes it interesting for that community of real nerds that want to know about the rockets and the Elon Musk space launches for SpaceX and things like that, and the Blue Origin and all those things. Like, he is for that community. He's set, like, for them, it's like they're like, yeah, this is the threshold of acceptable quality. We don't need you to be more than this. So he can more than afford to upgrade. He doesn't even do YouTube full time because he has a great job at a great company that pays a very generous salary, to where he doesn't feel the need to be a full-time YouTuber, even though he has 1 million subscribers and could definitely do it. And he also doesn't need to put any money into production or editing or upgrading or hiring a team, even with all of that going for him, because his community already said yes. And
Right.
he was like, he took yes for an answer.
Right. But there were things that they did to build that community in the first place. And a lot of that had to do with holding attention and, pandering to the algorithm. So that attention time in the first 4 seconds, right? They were really strict about that. They also have a strategy for thumbnails that's like, nobody, probably smaller than you, other than maybe a couple of people, I won't name names, has a thumbnail strategy that consists of multiple thumbnails per video that are already pre-planned, or that they're doing A/B testing and even using the TubeBuddy feature. Somebody dropped TubeBuddy in here. That's a feature to test.
Yep.
A/B test your thumbnails, and that's important too. What's up with StreamYard though? Why are they making you pay? I've been wanting to ask this since I got on.
I don't even know. Like, they would literally let me. They'd probably literally let me, like, completely have it for free if I bothered to ask. But it's like,
asking.
But
we are asking.
I've given other people like a free license. It's just, but I also like the running joke and gag that's like, I'm still paying for it while they sponsor me. So it's like, I don't like, so it's like, it's just funny.
It almost sounds like a burn though.
I don't know. I like it. I like it because I think it's funny. I think it's funny. I mean, I'm still paying for Adobe, all the work I've done with them where they've sponsored me and everything, although they probably paid for my Adobe for years by sponsoring me in a way after a fashion, but I'm still paying for Adobe and then not just for me, I'm paying for Adobe for my team. Like,
yeah, that's not cheap.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, but again, it's fun and games for me, but then also people who do take it seriously are also, because again, for me, it all washes out. But for other people, it's like, that does say something that's like, oh, yeah, if I wasn't getting sponsored or something, I'd still pay for it. Like, I would, and I do. Like, it's fine. So,
that's really great that you say that. And because this is my first live experience on YouTube, I have to say it was really easy to use. I thought I was supposed to download some software. That's why I was like, look, you have to give me a minute. Like, I am not set up to do this. And I thought I was going to have to like create an account, which I did. And I started doing all this stuff and I went and got your.
But it literally is just click.
That's all I had to do. They made it so easy, and I thought that I was going to have to do something completely different. I did not know what to expect, but they walk you through it. I was a little scared. I thought I was just going to come on. I think I did actually just come on, not even aware that it had started. I was looking down or something.
Well, no, I didn't put you on screen yet. You were in the green room.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, which I was grateful to know that I was in the green room, because I don't know how any of this works. And I thought, oh, I'm going to crash and burn. I don't know how this is going to go.
No, you've been doing great. I think the audience has enjoyed you. And like, there's people who've definitely really enjoyed hearing your perspective on this and stuff like that. And it's always great it's always great to talk to you, but then two, it's always great to just have a different perspective, because you were able to talk to us from the brand side and not just the creator side. Plus you're able to speak as somebody who works with a larger content creator, but then also yourself is an up and comer. So you have it from both sides, which is very rare, because that's and that's the other reason I like having Viper here. They get both sides. They get to hear from somebody who has 5,000 subscribers, and they get to hear someone who has 500,000 subscribers. They also get to see the truth, which I've always said, it's not some like pecking order or hierarchy game. Like, maybe some people, but most of the community, we're not cliquey about subscriber counts. We're cliquey about the people we click with.
Yeah. Well, and it's the you part of YouTube, right? It's if you're showing up and you're authentic, you're going to build relationships with people. And I think that that's what I appreciate about Clubhouse, because that's where we started building our friendship from. So
exactly.
just being able to be authentic and showing up, there was no polish. There was nothing to prepare, no lighting, you know, half the time. This is not how I look on Clubhouse, although my picture suggests that I do.
Right.
I can just be myself. And I think here too, you know, I think most people would be terrified of going live on YouTube. Like if Roberto Blake asked you to get on here with him live, would your stomach not drop to the floor for just a second? Like, let me know in the comments if I'm if I'm the only one who had the moment of like, oh, okay. I ran in there and I told my husband, he says, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you getting dressed for and ready for it? And I said, well, I got to do this, you know, like I can't not do this. And he goes, yeah, all right. Like to him, nothing's a big deal because we've made it a practice to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's just what this was. But I think for most people, they would be terrified of starting lives or even bringing this in. This has been on my agenda as the next thing to do with my channel.
StreamYard definitely would make it like easy.
Yeah. And I because this is sponsored by StreamYard, I just had to at minimum be able to just drop in here that this was my first experience. So I find it, you know, amazing, pretty cool that it's a sponsored video at that, and that I got to have that experience of being, you know, brought in from you. I mean, I am now your affiliate because I came off of your affiliate link to come in, and I had my first experience here because of this. So as a sponsor, this is exactly what they would be looking for. And for me to tell everybody how easy it was, right? How simple and how comfortable it was to just be able to get up here. So I think from that standpoint, even if a soundbite like this to be able to send to them, that's gold for them. They would love that, I'm sure.
And remember, you guys can actually use the link in the description down below to sign up for StreamYard for free today and let them know Roberto sent you. But yeah, that's free and you guys might want to do that. The other thing I will say before we start to wrap up here is I would want to remind people that quality is important in brand deals. And again, there's a lot of points of negotiation for it for sure. But quality, a lot of even the overkill in quality I do is partly to attract the biggest brands in the world. Quality and production and performance and all of those things, not just your numbers, but just the actual thing being delivered to them, the product, the video that they're getting would matter, especially when you consider, remember, you can actually be contracted even if you have smaller numbers, but your production and editing is really good. They might just tell you they want you to make content on their platform and they will pay you for that, which again is why you should stop thinking that you have to charge for the views. Stop charging for the views. Think to yourself, how much would I ask to be paid to make content on their channel? And views and subscribers have nothing to do with that. That's all about, oh God, how much scripting, editing, B-roll, production, doing my lines over, the revisions they're going to want. That would be the service. So you should charge for that and just take the views and subscribers out of the equation and think about, what if they just asked me to put this on their platforms, on their YouTube, on their Facebook, on their Instagram, on their, like, think like that.
Yeah.
Think creator more than influencer when it comes to that. And you will stop being leveraged by your size and you'll start judging it on the quality of the thing that you're making, like a brand. Because they have to go to an agency if they don't hire you. They got to go to an agency and the agency don't got no follower count to worry about.
Oh gosh, you just brought up something else. I'm going to talk about market value, the average market value. This was like a trigger word when I first heard it the first time. I was like, wait, what? Average market value is what an agency will value your channel at based off of what they can get for a channel your size. Doesn't matter if the creators like you, if they have an audience or a relationship with their audience. This is average market value. And when you are at the mercy of that metric, that's not good. Because
is there anywhere to find out that chart number or anything? Is there anywhere to do that research?
Well, these agencies can kind of make their own rules, but I think they're using like Social Blue Book. That might be.
So that's so that's a baseline. A lot of them do that and everything like that. I have a tool that I've shown people called Hype Auditor that I use. That's a diagnostic tool. But it's like, it costs money. Like, you're fine on that, but most people will not get that tool because like I pay $200 a month to get 20 influencer reports every month, and I pick the influencers and the platforms.
Didn't I say like a couple weeks ago, wouldn't people pay for other people's data and analytics? I said that, and this is a perfect example of that. People said I was crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, no, it's real. So like this is
Chatty Cathy says she fell asleep, came back, and we're still here.
Oh, that's hilarious. But I mean, to a point, these agencies use views or subscribers, but a lot of what they really use is engagement. Like I've seen, regardless of how many views or subscribers somebody has, I've seen in my own diagnostic tools like Hype Auditor that the engagement actually determines a lot.
Yeah.
And then they also then do their own internal, what they want, what they think. And again, they'll have their own internal like concept of brand affinity of like, well, how on brand are you? Like, so there's all kinds of other things, but I do just want you guys to remember, even at a superficial level, someone with no audience, a brand would just say, that dude is the model. He's perfect. He's got the perfect body. He's got the perfect build and that smile, or, oh, that's the girl. She's got the curly hair. She's got the look. She's got the thing to sell it. She's like, they would literally, with no follower count, with no clout, with no cap, just pick somebody that they think would look good in the ad. Because I have friends who do modeling and do extra work, and literally they don't have big social media followings. They literally like, that's the look, that's the person, or that I like how they delivered that line, or I like even hand models. There's all, so just kind of remember, there's all these kind of things. And just remember, the photographer that shoots the ad, no one's worried about their follower count, and nobody's worried about how much exposure the photographer is going to give. The person writing the script, they get paid. Just remember, people get paid for services they deliver. Now, a lot of y'all have not come from that world. You get paid to punch a clock, and now you're getting paid based on your social media metrics. Y'all never did freelancing like me and Angelique. So you've never done client services. You never worked at agencies like we did. So you never did itemized billing. You never did client services. And that's why we're educators. And that's why we coach people, is because there's a whole experience in life y'all have never had. There's a whole experience in your career y'all have never had. You've never charged for being a creator, not in terms of your exposure as an influencer, but literally just for the crafting that you did. And you've never done value-based pricing. You've never done a value-based exchange. You've either sold your time for money, or you've sold the perception of your influence for money. You've never actually sold the thing you make for money. That's the difference.
So one thing I want to say about this market value is that it's bittersweet, because it could mean that the value of your industry, your niche, what you have to offer could be valued higher than you think, which you had mentioned before. Like, ask them what their budget is, because it could be higher, and often will be higher than what you would value your own channel at. But sometimes it could be lower. And it's because we're not having this conversation enough for people to be able to understand, like, you know, this girl is charging $500 for the same thing that this one up here charged $12,000 for, right? This person will do it for free product, which, by the way, somebody asked that question about free product earlier. I don't know if they're still on, but free product could be a form of payment for some people, and they're perfectly happy with that. So then when this person goes,
especially if they use it to make content that they know will get them something later. Yeah.
Right. And that's what we were talking about earlier about the leverage and being able to use something to move you to the next stepping stone. And this is why I'm going to pose the question. Why wait? Why wait for a sponsor to produce something that you could use to show a sponsor? You don't have to publish it. It doesn't have to be something that you publish. Just get in the habit. Like on a weekend, then make this third video or just get out there and start making videos so that you can exercise what it would be like if somebody reached out to you and you turned them down. Just say, hey, not right now. That could mean that you might be interested in them later.
And the thing is, you could still monetize it by just doing affiliate. You know, you can still monetize it. I literally just review things I buy on B&H and Amazon. That's how I got my start. Like something else I'll remind you guys in terms of like the idea of like, you don't know how to price yourself is go look up in Google sometime day rates for modeling. Go look up day rates for modeling. Remember, they aren't relying on the model to get any traffic. And when you see how much people make on the day rates, not the hourly rates, the day rates for being a model. And remember that they get paid even if they're not even used in the ad. When y'all realize what the day rate for being a model, the day rate for being an actor in an industrial, and since y'all don't know what an industrial is when you're the actor in like the company training video or the company what do they call it? The company sensitivity training video or the company safety video. When you're the actor in that, whether they use you or not, the thing is, this thing will never see the public light of day. So there's no traffic, there's no marketing exposure, there's nothing that the brand makes off of their corporate training video or their corporate safety video, or their corporate sensitivity video. They don't get anything from the public on that. They don't need any clout. They don't need influencer marketing on that. The model, the actor for per day, because my friend Malcolm does this, an actor could get like $800 a day, non-union, $800 a day to be in a video that will never see the public light of day. I just want you to understand what we're talking about here, that you placing all your value in views and subscribers is wildly misguided, and it's not your fault because you've been on a platform and been in a culture that keeps telling you that, and that's why you're getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in here talking about like, you know, how they would structure or what the metric is that's important to them, like follower count or charge per views versus charging for the creative, which could be something totally different. But there's one person in particular that that came out with the comment here, Jay. He's talking about some people were really good at making tutorials about certain software, and the company actually picked them to make tutorials on the official channel.
Exactly.
That is precisely what I'm talking about.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
I got paid, and I got paid more for that, by the way, than I would have for just maybe something on my own channel. Mm-hmm. Like, for real. That happened for me with several brands that I've worked with. Probably the one that you all would recognize the most is obviously Adobe.
Yeah,
that,
right.
Like, and that was one of my higher paid brand deals and one of the higher paid campaigns. Yes. So like, that's real. That does happen.
Yeah, those are prime examples of seeing a need, filling a need. And that's really how I started my entire career, was seeing problems that I could provide solutions for. I'm just a professional problem solver. I love that. On solving problems. Some people would say, you're amazing with marketing. That's not true, because marketing changes all the time, and I'm not good at knowing exactly what's out there all the time or how to use it. Facebook ads, I used to do them. I used to be able to run campaigns with my eyes closed. I couldn't do it today because it's changed so much. There's just certain things that if I wanted to, though, I could. Why? Because I'm looking for the problem and the solution to that problem. That's really everything in marketing too. And when you're talking about brands, you're talking about getting brand deals, you're talking about your channel, the type of content to put out there, building a relationship with those people so that you could build relationships with more profitable people. It's solving problems.
So Mr. Hatman, you said that views are relevant, and why don't do brand deals on creative and then charge them for views? Some people do. Excuse me. And it is about conversions, not views. But views demonstrate for a lot of brands the potential upside of conversions because of something called the 1% rule, because we use that in advertising and marketing. So there's
vanity.
Yes. And there's vanity, but there's also exposure. So there's a value to exposure-based marketing as well. So the thing is, it's not that I would say that they're completely irrelevant. I would say that they're used as a point of leverage, largely to the detriment of creators. And they're also a point of insecurity, largely to the detriment of creators. Because remember, one view is the right view. One view is the producer that puts you on Ellen. One view is that ghost client, that phantom client that's never commented, that then hires you and writes you a $10,000 check in one go. Like, and that's happened to me. So like, there are a lot of things. These live streams don't always get views, but I get wonderful super chats and engagement and stuff from you guys. And guess what? I'll make more money through the relationships of those of you who hire me off the back of the live stream than I would off of the ad revenue or the brand deal potentially. Or again, by doing a live stream, even though it doesn't get a lot of views, it is a vehicle for the sponsors. And the thing is, a lot of you end up visiting the sponsors and giving them traffic. And the thing is, it's a significant amount of traffic in the day, and it spikes for the day, and they always love that. So especially since the weekends are slow for them. So these are all things taken into consideration, and you just have to think about it. I'll give you guys a final like tip before we start to say goodbye, but just think about this. I always look at how I'm going to build traffic, how I'm going to build trust, and how I'm going to build transactions. And the thing is, I always show proof of traffic. I always show proof of trust of authority, and I always show proof of transactions, aka the buying power of you all, my audience, and so on and so forth. So I always just prove it. The brands know when they work with me, they already know Roberto has his own business. So I can't have my own business if my audience doesn't have my trust enough, I don't have enough trust with the audience to lead to transactions. Having my own business means that you got to come with enough money to interest him, because he doesn't really need it. He just wants it, or would like it, or it would help, or but it's like he could just say no and be comfortable with what he has. So we have to make it tempting. So there's that aspect of it. It's like traffic. Well, I generate traffic. It may not always be the biggest numbers, but is it the right people though? Is it the right traffic? The right traffic is better than the wrong traffic. Again, depending on what you value. Because again, I've known companies that have said, we made a mistake going with like these people who have this many subs and this rare, because this person with less did more for us. And it's like, we paid all our money and we blew our budget there. And so that's why some brands have decided that micro influencers and nano influencers that have niche authority, intimacy, and people hang on their every word are sometimes better than macro mega creators with hundreds of thousands or millions, because the thing is, those people were good at getting attention that's free attention. They don't always move the needle on convincing anyone to ever spend money. Yeah. Or if it is, the loyalty stays with the creator and never is shared with the brand. So a lot of people, they can get their audience to spend money, but only with them, not with a brand.
Right.
Like that's something that people don't consider.
And something else, Savvy Turtle's in here, and he's talking about who he met through you, and like the community around you, that he's met some pretty dope people. And I'd have to agree, right? Birds of a feather type thing. But it's the same concept for aligning yourself with brands, and brands aligning themselves with creators, and where it just makes sense and there's a win-win, because you can trust that if Roberto's telling you something, that he believes in it. He's not going to talk about something if he doesn't. I think we all know that at this point, right? Somebody said, you say something really important, but you say it with your resting boss face. I love that. It was Joy. I think we talked to Joy before.
Yeah.
The other day. Yeah.
Yeah. She was in our clubhouse room the other day.
Yeah.
For Coffee Talk with Viper.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of all of those things and everything like that, I think it's time to call it an evening.
Yeah, I didn't bring snacks. I'm like,
it's time for me to eat again, actually.
Golly. Well, we do this though. That's the dangerous part about hanging out with Roberto. It could easily go on, and we've done this in Clubhouse, hours just talking about stuff. Yeah. Important stuff. But yeah. Good.
But Angelique, where can people find you?
You can look me up on YouTube here, of course. I just started. My channel is just barely over 2 months old. I'm a YouTuber officially and proud of it. Angelique Stidham. You can find me there. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, of course, and Clubhouse. That's probably where you'll connect with me the most, is Instagram and Clubhouse. Facebook, I am on there, and I do use that for my personal stuff, but I'm mostly in groups and whatnot. You can find me here, right in the chat where you are, or watching alongside of you if you're watching the replay. Yeah, I just appreciate this opportunity. I think right now we need connection, we need truth more than ever, and we need to be able to help people and guide them in the right direction. And I think education on this topic is extremely important, again, for both sides of the table. That negotiation takes two sides. So we have to start opening it up to seeing both sides of the picture. And I just appreciate you having me on here so that I could share.
Yeah, no, thank you. We've definitely benefited from your experience and also from your perspective. I always enjoy talking to you, so it's just always fun for me to talk to my friends. But guys, just remember that, like I said, while it's possible as a smaller channel or smaller influencer to get brand deals, you're at the lowest level of your experience and your exposure to all of this. So again, you're at your highest levels of overall vulnerability, and you don't have a lot of leverage. And the thing is, sometimes that makes it very easy to be taken advantage of. But it also means you're dividing your attention. And when you're small, the best use of your attention is creating value for your audience and working on your quality of your content, your systems, and your consistency, instead of chasing the validation that comes from a brand supporting you. Because again, for a lot of you, these milestones, these vanity metrics, and even the sponsorship thing is a check in the box to make it feel real to you, so you feel motivated to keep going. When motivation fails you, discipline won't. So you got to get out of being emotionally driven by all of this and just make a commitment to it and stop looking for that validation. And I know that says easier said than done, but that's the entire point. It's not meant to be easy. It's not supposed to be. You're asking for people's time, attention, and possibly their money. Why would it come easy? Why should it come easy? Just kind of, take a step back and think about that. As always, you guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, spending time. Thank you for all the super chats, all the love. Links to everything are in the description down below, and we will catch you in the week. Just a friendly reminder to support the sponsors, both TubeBuddy and StreamYard, link down below. Also, make sure you're checking out my Facebook page, following me over there. Let's go ahead and get to 10K over on Facebook, monetize yet another platform, and pursue their ad revenue. And also remember to check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Zenbuster. Throw on some great tunes this evening in the background. Check out the Lo-Fi Zodiac tunes that we just dropped. And
I love that channel, by the way.
Yeah. So, of course, everything is linked down below. We'll catch you guys next time. Stay awesome.